This is fun. Yeah, just do a full-on restart. I just started streaming. Whoa, no video available. Now what's going on? I can still hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're coming through 5x5.
We should be streaming. Why for not or with? Yay! All right. Oh, too much light. Too much light from above. All right. So, is this your first cigar since you've been sick?
This is my first cigar in 3 weeks.
3 weeks, folks. Sorry we couldn't make it earlier. We've been taking turns being sick as dogs.
Yeah. A little bit of the Eagle Rare helps to take the tickle out of my throat.
There you go. Hey, sometimes the stomach flu weight loss program is a good thing. Down to 233 now. Yeah. This time, I'll keep it off. Fantastic. Today's day's the week. I'm sorry. It's another one of those days where it's like, really? It's National Cupcake Day, but it's also National Lemon Cupcake Day. That's like having rhinoceroses and elephants on the same day, remember? Where it's like, what, there's not enough for everybody?
That's right, it's National Rhinoceros and then National Full-On Assault Unicorn Day as well, yes.
Exactly. National Wear Your Pearls Day for the ladies. National Cat Herders Day. Every day is National Cat Herder Day at my house. And the Bill of Rights Day. Okay, that one I don't have a problem with.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is National Chocolate Covered Anything Day.
There you go.
Why isn't this a national holiday? Why are we just hearing about it now? It's also National Barbie and Barney Backlash Day, Day of Reconciliation, and Stupid Toy Day. Why can't today be Stupid Toy Day? All right, we got those out of the way. We're not going to go through all of the days that we missed because, no, we don't have it. Other than that, all right. Hello and welcome to the Supreme Council of the Master Geeks Lodge. My name is Bill Kelly, Hornswoggle the Great. I am one of your many council members and master geeks here at this podcast where we're going to talk about geek culture, geek stuff, and Christmas-themed craziness all through today's. I actually found on YouTube Christopher Lee telling ghost stories. Yeah, it's pretty badass. It was an actual show, I guess. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. But they have like all these young dudes, and they're all getting their drinks and pulling chairs up, and he's sitting, and he's like, and they're not that I'm a tour guide, because it's Christopher Lee, and everything he says is going to be awesome or hilarious. You just have to wait to see if you're supposed to laugh or go, wow.
Supposed to laugh, sit in awe, or wet your pants and cry, depending upon what it is.
Depending upon. So yeah, there's that. Been pretty well, and December is just flying by. Holy crap, it's already the 15th.
Yep.
I don't know. Will we get to do another Santa mission next week? We should probably keep the tradition going. We're going to run out of kids soon.
I actually had one child. There were 3 kids that actually brought or gave Santa pictures this time. But one of them came up and he had his handwritten list that he wanted. He brought Santa a cookie and a picture that he had.
Really?
And so I wrote a letter, took care of, stamped it, and everything else. I have to see if I can see the brother on Thursday, because that's the next stated meeting for Scottish Rite.
Ah.
And if I can, then I will give him that, because I don't know him as well as the brother that we gave the letter to last year.
It was a drug deal in Costco parking lot. Only instead of drugs, it was a letter from Santa to a little girl. Yeah.
It was real sugar plums to dance in someone's head.
That's like real drugs. Not to be... Okay, Fenrir. Go.
Oh, yeah. Fenrir is out. He's at the front room talking to a bag blowing down the street, or the neighbor across the street, or whatever the hell else.
Well, he's got her involved, so it must be important. I can hear Gretchen.
Yeah. They've got to tell everybody. Wishing you a Merry Christmas, and we have rules about this shit around here.
I posted it on Facebook, 2 days ago? Yesterday?
Yeah.
About 3:15 in the morning. Did you read that?
I must have, but I'm not sure what you're going on.
Okay. Quiet, damn it, I'm trying to tell a story. Okay. So, I get up, figure, okay, I'm going to let the cats out. So this was yesterday. So, yes, Christmas. I'm early to bed, early to rise, not by design, by nature, by I have to be up now, stuff is happening. I don't know why. So, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up, do the thing, walk all the way to the back door, open the back door, and immediately the cats start to rush out, but then they pause, because as soon as the door opens, music, laughter, and Spanish just like fill the air. It's got to be 2 or 3 streets away. It was that loud. And that's what I love about living in Phoenix. It never fails. Every year. In a lower income area where I live, there's that one cool, awesome Hispanic family that has the Christmas party of the year, and it goes till like 3 or 4 in the morning. And the cops don't shut it down, because anybody who shows up to complain, like Rob joked, just go there, they'll give you food. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. And it was tuba and, and just, dude, and that's amazing. That's not something that you have in your predominantly white neighborhoods, because usually there'll be like one older white guy screaming his head off, or some woman losing her shit. Shut up! Oh my God, it's one night a year. You're gonna lose this battle.
Yep.
Let them have their fiesta. And it was awesome. And it went until about 4, and then it was dead quiet. So, I have a rental house next to me. And one year, when the kids were little, actually, I don't think youngest child was around. I think it was just Hannah, just the oldest child. And that party happened right next door to my house. They had a piñata from the roof. They were screaming and yelling. My redneck tweaker neighbor was losing his mind. It was great. Shut the fuck up, you motherfucker. And they're just like, I was like, dude, you're not going to win this argument. Just go inside and just deal with it. Or just enjoy it and laugh and, okay. Dude, son, you'll learn the words to decolores. It'll be all right. What? Tamales are awesome. It's what you go. I haven't asked at the new place yet, but at the last place, was there for a while, and then Wendy and I were working every day together, and then after a month, okay, I've been meaning to ask this question, but I didn't want to, come off as a rude gringo. Hey, where the tamale lady at? But yes, where the hell is the tamale lady? There's always one. In every neighborhood, in every community, at a job, there's a lady who knows a lady who has an aunt, who has a cousin named Esmeralda, Maria, Inez, Amalda, whatever the hell. She's the tamale lady. And that lady will sit in her house. And tamales are relatively simple. They're not, like hugely complex, but they're painstaking and they're time intensive. So you want that lady that you're going to pay $20 for a bag of tamales. And then, Wendy, I'm like, I know you know who the tamale lady is. And she started laughing, and she's like, yes, there's a tamale lady. I'm like, okay, there's always a tamale lady. What do you mean, yes, there's a tamale lady? And we started talking about it. I'm like, okay, I'm bringing cash. I need tamales. You must facilitate. Yo, man, you don't understand. I gotta have me some cornmeal. So she then tells me something that's earth-shattering. Because not only at work is there a lady who knows a lady that's the tamale lady, at her apartment complex, there's a chili rellenos lady. Oh my God, really? Well, the problem with chili rellenos is it's like cheesesteaks. That's a food you have to, order and eat. You can't have that delivered unless you have it broken down into... It's just not good delivered. And that's a lesson learned. They were very good rellenos, but just... There are certain foods that don't travel well. Cappuccino, chili rellenos, cheesesteaks, just consume it there. Consume it there where you ordered it, where it was birthed, pulled from the fires before where it was made. Yeah. But always, if you know the tamale lady and you live in Northeast Phoenix, let me know. Comment below.
Yep.
Talk to us on Facebook.
My dad had his insurance agent account. He had one of his customers, good customer, been his customer for a long time, had a couple of different businesses, landscaping and automotives and a few other things. And he was first generation from Mexico into the United States. And his wife was Mexican, who had come and gotten her citizenship. And she loved to make tamales with her mother and her aunt. So my dad used to order some tamales. Well, one year, the first year, he told them he wanted 24 tamales. He meant 2 dozen. They thought 24 dozen.
Oh, my God.
So they made and brought 24 dozen. So my dad, being the man that he was, he bought all of them, paid cash money, happier than hell to have them. My dad was the kind of guy, he used to write the insurance for the Girl Scouts of Arizona.
Oh, no.
So he used to have the insurance for their corporate side. So every year he literally bought 20 boxes, cases of Girl Scout cookies. And he gave them out to his clients throughout the year.
This year they get
you came in to see him. Even if you just came in to see him, you got a box of cookies. Well, that year, you came in to see him, you got a half a dozen or a dozen tamales, depending on what you wanted.
Okay, everything looks in order. Yeah. We've got it here. You guys are married. The certificate. We've got the change. And, it's in order. Thanks for coming in. One last question. What? One last question. Beef, chicken, or cheese?
Well, he would look at it. He's like, you like the green corn or you like the red chili? Or would you like to have the Girl Scout cookies? Or would you like... He did that. He had He was the old style insurance guy. He bought cases of See's candy
Oh wow.
in the summertime to keep in the office, because he would have that. He handed that out at Christmas. He handed it out at Thanksgiving. He handed it out through. Everybody knew when you went to go see Lafayette Bar, you were going to walk away with something. He was the guy that everybody loved. And so he got so much word of mouth business that it was extraordinary. You know, somebody show up and say, "You're the guy that gives out cookies." Yeah, I am. I need to talk to you about insurance. Okay, have a seat.
You're the one. Yes, I am he who distributes the tamale cookies. What? Ew.
When my son opened his agency, the first year, I went out and bought him 10 cases of Girl Scout cookies, because there's a gal that lives down the block whose daughter was in the Girl Scouts for years. So she showed up the first year I moved into this house, and I said, "Okay, this is going to sound weird. How many cases can you get me? What do you mean?" And I explained to her what was going on, and she said, "Oh, well," said, "I'm going to need, I'll tell you what, bring me 2 cases of everything." And I paid her. And of course the daughter was beside herself because she had the highest sales immediately for the group. But then I gave them to my son. So each year it became kind of a thing. She'd show up and say, "Well, I need 2 of these and 2 of these and 2 of these.
I need 2 dos and a case of Samoas and a bunch of tagalongs." Yeah. I know way too much about Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, yeah, and I would do that for my son, and that was kind of his way of carrying on his grandfather's tradition. So he loved it. Now he's with the other agency. He hasn't done it as much, but he's trying to get them on board with that too.
It's a bit expensive nowadays at the cost of Girl Scout cookies.
Well, the nice thing about it is when you buy them and you're giving them away, that becomes something that the agency can write off.
Yes, that is true.
Because they've made the donation to the Girl Scouts
of America
for the cookies, which they are giving away. So that became a big deal for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to do the Girl Scouts. The Girl Scouts, for a couple of years, had a car show out at the Peoria Sports Complex, out at the baseball stadium.
Really?
And so we used to go out there every year. And Barr would be up on the stage. He would MC. He was the unofficial MC because he was like you. He was that outgoing, that gregarious. Everybody loved. He had that voice. He could speak to people, and everybody lived for it because he would call it, "Hey, and we're giving away a television set. Come on, hey, you got ticket number? Come on down. Congratulations, you're the big winner."
Yeah. Good morning, Vietnam. Yeah.
Another cool thing that happened for Christmas, I'd been talking about some of the things I was trying to do with the Scottish Rite for the kids in Glendale. And we tried to get together with a couple of the churches and the city to try and get some of the underprivileged kids. I was going to play Santa, and we were going to have a whole thing. The problem is that there's a lot of concern right now with the families' personal information. The families are a little skittish to come and openly be called out, as it were.
Oh,
so we said, that's fine. So the city of Glendale has an Adopt a Family program. They reach out to businesses and clubs and whatnot in the city to get help. So I was talking with this lady from City Services. She let me know about it, so I took it back to the Scottish Rite. And the brothers decided to help 15 families.
Oh,
and
that's
so
awesome.
They got a list. They gave us a list of the children in the family, and it's all for kids like 14 and under.
Yeah.
So they gave us a list of what they wanted, their sizes, and the brothers went out and bought a bunch of stuff, wrapped them up. I shared the picture on Facebook. The head of the lodge went out, bought all the stuff with his wife. They wrapped all the gifts, and they just dropped them off this afternoon to the city of Glendale.
Well, that's
so that
awesome.
Glendale will then give them to the families for Christmas.
That's really good.
Yep.
Man, I'm glad I got more.
It's that whole season of giving. So,
'tis the season.
Yep. Tomorrow is St. Mary's, so I'll be going down to St. Mary's tomorrow to help pack boxes.
Right on. No, I've been wanting to get out to the ranch. I just haven't, and that's money's tight right now, and hours are tight, and then trying to get an additional job is yay the future. So
Yeah.
that being
I
said,
did get some information from my daughter.
oh,
She said you should look at USAA.
okay,
Take a look at that because you have that engaging personality. You have the radio announcer voice, and you can bring people to a level where they're more comfortable.
I've
And
interviewed
I
with
think
them. They're at the freeway in Greenway. They're like I-17 in Greenway, basically. And I've had a couple interviews with them. They're a great company, but I just
because they are looking, they're always looking for folks to work on the banking side and the insurance side. And if you go insurance, of course, they'll pay for all your licenses.
really.
And I'm still a firm believer. I think that you would do well. They'll license you in all 50 states and Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, wherever the hell else in the world they want to.
Mm.
And, the fun part of that is you work down there, you learn the business. After a year, you can always go to another agency should you decide to say, look, when I was there, I sold $1 million worth of product. You really want me on your team? I'm willing to do it.
I know people. It really doesn't matter what we're selling. I prefer it's something I believe in. It's a little harder for me when I really don't give a crap about your product.
That's right. I'm not as good selling Franistans. I'm great at selling people oxygen systems. There's a difference.
Well, mortgages were a home run because I got into it helping friends. So it was very, one of those, hey, I can make a difference and make a buck. This is like awesome. But it was luck and timing really matter more in life than any amount of degree or education or reference letter or something like that. It's all about saying the right thing at the right time to the right person on the right day who's in the right frame of mind. And then you get the greatest job ever. And then the company shuts down a year and a half later and you move on and you find another place. This is called Phoenix for a reason. It used to be called Pumpkinville. But this city and the way it lives and breathes and the way it's baked by the sun for 10 months of the year and, the other 2 months as well, it really is the Phoenix. It just keeps getting to a glorious crescendo, destroying itself, and then completely rebuilding again over and over and over again, twice as strong. And just looking around since moving here in 1979, 78, this place isn't even the same place. Like almost the whole city has changed.
Oh, yeah, when I was growing up, this was a conglomeration of farming. Phoenix was the largest of them, but Phoenix and Glendale and Peoria, Youngtown and Avondale and Goodyear, those were way out. That was, you were going out of town to be there. And where I'm living now was in the county. This was all orange groves and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, I remember there being a space, a section of county. When you left Glendale heading into Phoenix, you passed the sign that said, now leaving Glendale, thank you, and Maricopa County, and then welcome to Phoenix. And you're like, oh, okay, well, no big deal. And everything that was between them was onion fields or sorghum fields or whatever.
Or alfalfa or cotton, or there was always alfalfa everywhere growing up. I'm not saying this as it's some, only Arizona, but we are the 5 C's: citrus, copper, cotton, all the fun. But excuse me. What's really interesting is the shift in time, because, well, I mean, 53 is old, but it's not that old, but socially it's old. Oh, the roof is leaking, and this is wrong with the build. Where I'm at Wendy's in the morning, and this is wrong, and this is wrong, and that. You know, this building was built in like 1993, 94. Really? Well, yeah. How do you know that? Well, the Walmart was built in 93, and I got a job there as a stockman. I was 21 years old, and I worked there for a little over a year, pushing carts, loading televisions into the back. Wow, you've been here that long? That long? Okay. When I was 9, we used to ride our bikes here. It's like 3 miles from your house. There was no traffic when we first moved out here. When my parents brag, well, before he died, my father used to brag that Tatum and Thunderbird Tatum is the border where Phoenix and Scottsdale kind of meet. Really, it's a little more west than that, but that's up to your zoning, not. But as far as a landmark goes, Tatum Boulevard, which is basically 48th Street, it's the border. It traditionally was the border for Scottsdale and Phoenix.
Scottsdale, Phoenix, and Paradise Valley. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there.
And when we moved up here, there were housing tracts, but beyond the housing tracts, there was nothing. There was desert. There's people, like they do out near Pete's place. They dump drywall and concrete and all kinds of other crap in the desert that they can't get. They don't want to pay to take it to the dump, so they just dump it in the desert. Oh, my God, it drives me absolutely insane. It's cool when you're a kid because you're like, wow, treasures. And when you're an adult and you're like me and you become a curmudgeon, God damn it, what the fuck is wrong with people? Why can't you quietly slip it into the green can like a normal human every week?
That's right. Why aren't you looking for the places where somebody's got a backhoe, stupid, and they're going to bury something anyways?
Or even better, why aren't you making friends with all your neighbors and then quietly slipping your excess trash into their cans on the eve of Trash Can Day? So, there was nothing up there. Now, no way in hell you could do this in 2025. But in 1980, you could sit in the Tatum and Thunderbird intersection at 5 p.m. on a Wednesday and probably go a good 45 minutes before somebody came home.
Yep.
Because there was just like the 51. And I kept explaining it to Hannah, and when she was driving around, and I'm like, you don't understand how fucking spoiled you are that the 51 exists. If you were driving in Phoenix in the 80s, it wasn't like that at all. Oh, my God. You couldn't just get on the 51 and, oh, I'm in South Phoenix. Oh, I'm in North Phoenix. That only took 12 minutes. Fuck that. No. That would have been get on 32nd Street, go down, get on the Dreamy Draw with the rest of the area, which is another reason why it was just so dead north of that, because everybody's in traffic. There's 2 lanes. There's 2 lanes and, 15,000 people. It was a nightmare. Every day was a nightmare. So it took forever to it took time to get home, because the Dreamy Draw is around the old mine, and it's called the Dreamy Draw because they were mining mercury there in the late 1880s, 1890s, and 70s, like really late. And as far as Phoenix goes, there's a street called Northern, and it's the 8,000 block of the Phoenix metropolitan area. But that was called Northern because there was nothing past there in the 30s, 40s, 50s. In 1947, just before Roswell, another saucer-shaped object from the sky basically did like a they described it as a stone skipping across the pond, only a spaceship in the desert. And then there's a huge myth that they just buried the ship at the Dreamy Draw area. The problem with that is if you read the article and you know the area, well, no, that ship, from the way they describe it, it would have crashed somewhere over around, 72nd Street in Choya, not 19th Street and Northern. But you're not going to argue with the UFO people. Half of them are very interesting and have a lot of knowledge. The other half are nuts, like most things. So what's interesting in that case is that you had all this open desert for the longest time, and then all of a sudden you have all these housing tracts, and it's really no different than what they're doing now. But I've lived here all my life, and they don't want Phoenix to go high because it'll ruin the scenery. The problem is they just keep going out when they should be going down. It's like, look, it's 120 degrees in the summer. Why haven't we turned into a nocturnal society for 9 months out of the year? Because it's 110 outside.
We should be building little hobbit holes because they will stay much, much cooler throughout the year. That's why we had root cellars.
Well, there's a lot of root cellars in Arizona in the pre-1900s and in the 1900s, but hobbits, or all of the scenes you see from Tatooine, especially in the very first Star Wars movie in the 70s, where they were using a little bit more of the okay, this is a desert planet. This is how these people would live. You wouldn't have upright structure because the wind and the sand, it would shred that, dude. So, but it's weird because they do mound houses in Australia, but they're very rare in Arizona. And then there's moles. What? There's moles that came through the wall and caused all these problems. Moles? I thought that was up north.
Oh, no, we have all kinds of pain-in-the-ass prairie dogs down here.
That prairie dogs are little chipmunk guys causing a whole lot of, or even rabbits. Rabbits are hugely warrens cause all kinds of damage to an
we
yard.
have rabbits, and we have raccoons. They're desert-level raccoons that roam about and do as much damage as they can. They're not the cute little pretty trash pandas that you see in other places.
Oh, there's two families that live at the Tapatio Cliff. One family lives in the mountain, and the other family lives under the ballroom. And you would see them come out and do stuff. But they are terrified of us. And they do not
I have some.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I have some that live in this neighborhood. But they recognize Fenner's, half of Fenner's breed, because the neighbors used to tell me early on, hey, watch out, because we have raccoons. And I tell them, not for long. What do you mean? He's wolf.
He's got wolf in him.
Yeah.
He's got
so the raccoons are going to make a wide berth when it comes to carrying around in this neighborhood.
Yeah. Raccoons didn't show up until 15, 20 years ago in downtown Phoenix. Before that, you only heard about them in Carefree, Cave Creek.
They were out towards the higher elevations, towards the edges of the valley.
Pinnacle Peak, the Troon area, because there's for one, there's a lot more vegetation up there, and it's that same soapbox I'm on where you go back and forth in your sensitivity, right and left. I hate talking politics and everything's so fucking charged right now, but it's funny how the decades change or intensify your right or left, where your needle is on the gauge. But I would have to say that, like, stuff for animals and wild animals and stray domestic animals, and so I've never changed my opinions on that, because that you've got no problem building up. Why don't we build down? And my dad was the one who finally took all of the wind out of my sails on that, when he explained, once you get, it was the he used the channel 12 used to be at Portland and Central. It's no longer there. It's at Van Buren and like 3rd Street now. It's right near the Herberger Theater. But they occupied a very large business complex and a historic firehouse. So in the corporate area, they wanted to put a gym in the basement and the sub basement, and they wanted to put male, female locker rooms, 2 different locker rooms and showers. And he kept trying to explain to them, and what he explained to me is, once you get below the level of normal plumbing, you have to rely on pumps and generators and sub pumps to get the water pressure. And it ends up, you can do it, but the end justifies the means. You're going to spend a lot more creating all this pressure and getting the water to move around than if you just do it on this level.
Well, the other problem that you have in the valley is that there are significant caliche deposits that are as low as they're as close to the surface as less than 10 feet.
That's why we don't have basements.
And for those that don't understand what caliche is a naturally occurring substance in the substrata in Arizona in the Southwest. The problem with caliche is that it can be more difficult to cut through than granite, because it is that difficult. About the only thing that you can do to get through it is you have to blast through it. And it becomes very difficult to deal with. That's why basement homes never really took off in the valley.
No.
But the other thing my old man used to always complain about was that in almost every other country in the world, you live on the mountainsides, you build on the mountainsides, and you farm in the valleys. Unless you're in an area like some of the areas in South America where you don't have a valley as such, then you terrace the mountainsides. But in Europe, you don't find all the homes in the valley. The homes are up on the hillsides surrounding the valley, because all of the arable land is in the valley. The water comes down, it makes this all wonderful, beautiful land. I can grow food all day long and twice on Sunday. That's what I need. Well, not here, folks. We took what had been converted into the most beautiful growing area by ancient Indian tribes thousands of years before the Spaniards walked into this area. And we decided, yep, them looks like a good place to put a road down. I'm going to build me a house over here.
We need Disneyland right there. No, part of that, yes. But caliche clay and the plumbing thing is definitely, and caliche's white, and I mean, it's one of those things. It's like hitting a pick with concrete. Bang!
Yeah.
Because
you hit it, you know you found it.
Yeah. If it rains and you find it and it's soft, no problem. We can handle this. But that is very rare. Usually it's old and white, and it's just, it's the stuff.
And it will be thick. You can look at 20, 30, 40 feet of strata that is solid caliche. And the piece, the section that you could be working on could quite literally cover up to an acre, but through tendrils, and it's spread out. And it just becomes a matter of, nope, we're going to anchor to this, and build up, because that we know we can get away with.
Yeah, because it's like sediment from forever ago.
So it's like downtown. Most folks don't know that downtown Phoenix was originally all the old buildings had a shared chiller system. So Phoenix had one of the first true air conditioning systems that was shared in all of the original buildings downtown in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. They shared a cold water chilling system. And every building owner paid into the city for access to the chiller network. And then they, of course, had their own equipment that they supported, but they had to buy in to use the network itself. And much of that is still in operation downtown.
Really?
Those chillers still operate because that is the most efficient way to cool some of these buildings, is these huge chiller systems that can chill the air. They can use those water to air heat exchange, and then they can drive that air using heavy fans and more efficient fans over the years up as high as 20 stories if they need to.
Caliche
and it's far more efficient.
Sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's out in Kansas too. So okay, well hold on. It's sediment, sand, silt, clay, gravel, soil that has been cemented together under pressure, often with calcite, in an arid or semi-arid region. And the problem is breaking through it and getting around it. But once you remove it, you can, looking at the internet here too, they're not only the cooling system you were talking about for insulation, because, but also, I mean, it's really old sediment, so it's a pretty good fertilizer if you can take the time to break it down.
Yeah, if you have appropriate ball mills, the places that would have had that kind of thing would not have been in the valley. You would have seen them. Tapatio Cliffs would have had a ball mill out there back when it was the mine.
Yeah.
The last big ball mill that I've seen in Arizona that's not in use anymore, but still exists so you can see what it looks like, is a restaurant up on the top of Crown King. They have this beautiful restaurant.
Yeah.
And what it was the old mining processing center.
Oh,
and the ball mill that's in there is like 2 or 3 stories tall, and probably runs 40 or 50 feet in length, and it's probably a good 20 feet wide. And they would run the material through that, and most of the structure is still there, most of the equipment is still there, but it's off to one side. It's only one portion of it.
Yeah.
And you can look at it, and people come in and they look at it. What's all this?
What is this?
Well, let me explain it to you. This is where we take big rocks, make them into little rocks, and make them into smaller rocks, and then make them into little bitty rocks.
Okay, Crown King, Arizona. Crown King, Arizona is off the I-17. And, okay, personal ghost story time. Well, I mean, I don't see very much as far as the paranormal, but I get lots of sensations and feelings. I also hear a lot of stuff that other people don't hear, that I've noticed through time. So, Amanda and I, we go up in that area. She has a off-road Jeep. You know, they go on they all meet and they hang out, and then they go do the little run, and then they go and have lunch, and then they, see you in a couple weeks. So it's cool. I enjoyed it. I've gone on like 2 or 3 of the trips and met the awesome people in her group. So we go to Crown King, and we pull up, and there's that one. It's like a tavern, I guess. I mean, I don't think there's rooms to rent there. There's definitely an upstairs. So she parks, the other people park, we're all talking, we're all walking in there. Ah, man, all the way down my spine, somebody is watching me, and I cannot take my eyes off the second-story window. There's nobody in there, in this bar. It's a cute, really old building. but this building is alive. So nothing happens. This isn't like a story. This is like a story for Amanda. Because she's real sensitive, too. And I can tell, you're friends with somebody for a long time, I can tell that even around this crowd of people that are all people that she introduced me to, the moment we got in this building, she immediately became uncomfortable. And I can tell just from, sitting in a cubicle across from her, and they lived here for a little bit. She's like a sister. So I'm like, okay. And the atmosphere is awesome. This group is pretty much the main customers, except for there's only like maybe 10 tables in this place. It's really small. This is a mountain town. And there's a tiny little bar, and there's a guy with a guitar, because it's like, it's getting close to dinner. It's after lunch. I think that's about the time we got there. But out of the periphery, I can hear somebody yelling. But I can't, they're not like yelling mad, they're like yelling. And I seem to be the only one who hears this. Because when it happens, I look around and nobody reacts but me. But I can hear like a dude going, like he's yelling outside, but that would cause people to look outside and be like, why is dude yelling outside? So we go to leave, and just before that, the intense I'm watching you from the second story is now like beyond where the kitchen is. But there's like nobody back there because this is like a family restaurant. So as soon as whatever food was ordered is completed, the two people that are back there like walk out with their little apron on, and it's like Mel's Diner. So there's someone else here that definitely wants us to know that they're here, but they're not like doing anything. They're just there.
They're just asking you, pay attention to me, for Christ's sake. I've been trying to get people's attention.
All my life, man. We need to go that way. Why? Because of that man. What man? What are you talking about? And that's why I loved working with Wendy. There's an arm. There's a person. There's a man. So now opening a building I've already secured was annoying, but you obviously saw something I didn't. This is a busy place. It always feels like there's people around, so I don't have that fine-tuned psychic skills. I can sense when there's people around, but most of those are alive right now.
See, I've always been the opposite. Even after all the years on the trucks and all the people that I have been there for their crossing over, a nice way to put it.
That is good.
I have worked in a number of places that have been, to all accounts, from the people that were there, they were haunted. I worked at a movie theater up here in the North Valley that was haunted.
Yeah.
And the manager and all of the assistant managers refused to work there at night unless I was there and my buddy Dave. Because when we were there, nothing happened. Nothing ever happened. So people couldn't figure out why we were always getting night shifts. And finally I asked, I said, I don't mind working the days, so well, we really rather have you at night. Oh, is there a problem? Maybe you guys are worried about something? Is there something going on? And they finally sat down and they said, look, we don't want you guys to think we're crazy, but the place is haunted. Well, Dave and I stood up and we're like, really? Yeah. Hang on a second. And we started it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. We're walking through the place and we're like, ghosts, where are you? Hello, come on. And they're looking at us mortified. They're like, don't do that. You're going to start.
They're going to torture us when you leave.
I'm like, lady, I've been trying to find this for years and none of it ever happens.
Careful what you wish for.
When I show up, people say suddenly it stops. It dies. So up at the ranch, up at Grandpa's ranch, the ranch itself had been purchased by Grandpa's grandmother in the 1890s. She had moved the house that was there from Prescott Valley. It was a church in Prescott Valley. They torqued it down, carried it by wagon to where the ranch is today, and built it up. It was a one room. That was the ranch house.
Wow.
We had an old smithy out in the back pasture. Up the road, the dirt road, there was the small town of Dugas. There was about 6 buildings there. All of them, when I was young, all of them were dilapidated at that point.
Oh, wow.
But all of them were known to have something there. In our very back pasture, out behind the house, there was a small tributary that ran down from the elevated hill behind the house, where there was an original still site. And on the other side of that tributary was an Indian burial ground. And we knew it was a burial ground because it had been in the 40s. ASU had sent out a team to excavate and to track everything. They did a full site assessment and identified all of the graves. So when it rained, quite literally when it rained, you could go out, and this was a tribe that buried their dead. So they didn't have the lean-tos because there wasn't a whole lot of. The only trees in the area were literally cottonwood and sycamore that grew along the Sycamore Creek. So they didn't build the big stands to put the bodies in. Yeah. They buried the bodies. So you'd go out there after a heavy rain and you could see the depressions. And you could walk out there and there would be all kinds of pottery shards and arrowheads and things like that. So when we were kids, Grandpa used to take us out there and he'd walk us through and he'd show it to us. And when you walked out there, Grandpa would walk out there in the afternoon and he'd say, he would say, "Hello, we're just out here taking a look. I'm going to show the kids the burial ground. We're not going to take anything. We're just out here so that they can understand what it is and understand the reverence of it." And we walked through. And you'd sit there and you walk through and you'd look at it and he would pick up. I could walk through there and get 2 handfuls of pottery shards and arrowheads and all kinds of stuff. And you look at it and you go, "Oh, this is cool. Grandpa, can I take it?" "No, gotta leave it here."
Not unless you want to suffer.
Well, and that was his thing. He said, "You can always come back and see it again. It's not going anywhere. It'll be here." Oh, okay. So that was our collection of artifacts. But I never came across that stuff. My boys loved that stuff. We used to go with the Arizona Paranormal Society. I think that's what their name was. There was a ghost hunting group, and they've since changed hands, but they still do the same thing. But they got permission to do the old Gila County Jail. Really? And they got permission to do the old Ajo Mine Hospital. And they got permission to do ghost hunts up in Prescott and up in Cottonwood and all these other areas. I've been to those places. The only time I had anything happen, I was in the Gila County Jail, the old jail building. We were up in the holding cell, which was the ladies' holding cell. So from the I believe it was active from like the 1880s through to the early 1920s or something like that, 1930s. We're in the holding cell in the shower section. And I'm standing there, and the lady that's running everything is going through. She's telling the stories about different people. And the next thing I know, I thought one of my grandchildren was standing next to me, but none of them had come with us. Because it felt like Natalie or Isabel had reached up and grabbed my hand.
Yep.
And just kind of, like they would come up to Grandpa and hold the hand.
I need to hold on to your hand for a second. It's okay. Yes.
And after she finished talking, I looked at her and I just very quietly, I said to my son, I said, there might be something here because it feels like somebody's holding my hand. And he steps back and the lady heard. She comes over and I'm like, well, it feels like there's a little bitty hand holding my hand right here. Now I'm a grandpa, so
I know what this feels like.
Feels like
I have children.
That's the only thing that I've ever had. Because, and I've told you the story before. I've been to places. Kathy is, Chewy. She is sensitive, and she has told me a few times that she's been up to the ranch and she's felt things, and she knew that I was coming because all of a sudden, whatever kind of went away. Like, we got to go.
It's him. We have an agreement. Yeah. We gotta go. We're not allowed to be here when he's here.
When I was in Paris with my sister, we went to the graveyard where Jim Morrison was buried.
Right.
And my sister, she believes that she's sensitive, and she's walking around. She's walking right next to me, and she says to me, "It's weird." So what's that? She says, I don't feel anything. Usually when I go through a graveyard, I feel presences. I said, oh. I said, okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to stay right here. You walk up there and, see if it changes. And she got about 20, 30 feet away from me. And she's sitting there and she's, okay. And she wasn't looking at me. And the place is packed, of course. Everybody and their brother is in this graveyard.
Which always makes
I start walking up. I got to about 10 feet away from her, and she turned around. She says, I knew you were coming because everybody left. And I was like, okay, well, that settles it for me.
You don't want dead people waking you up in the middle of the night asking you crazy questions. You don't want that.
Unfortunately, I have seen so many crossovers, been there at that moment, that it's one of those things that, and a lot of the medics that I work with, a lot of folks that I work with have the same questions. Like, I want to know. I'd like to get something that tells me, yes, there is something on the other side. And that everything I did, even though I couldn't save this person, even though I couldn't keep them here, what I did was of value and made it easier or better or whatever the case may be. It helped them to do what they needed to do. And I think that's what most of the folks that I know that went through that for years would like. We'd love to be able to sit there, all of a sudden have the person pop up and go, you know what? You were there when I died. You were there for the last 5 minutes of my life, and I appreciate everything you did. You did what you could. You kept me, you made me believe that everything was going to be all right. You helped me cross over. That's what we would love to hear. Don't know that I'll ever hear it. But it's
it's Christmas. We've been telling UFO and ghost stories. That's what this holiday used to be all about.
Hey, Christmas time was one of the times of the year where nobody ever died on Christmas. Nobody ever died on Thanksgiving. I don't care that they may have passed. If we could at all keep the family. I didn't want the little 6-year-old child to think of Christmas as the day Grandpa died. Christmas was not the day. Boxing Day can be the day that Grandpa died. Because in the United States, we don't do Boxing Day.
Not really. I mean, I get all excited about it, but then again, Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. But those were the rules. Nobody ever died in the truck. If I put that person in the back of the truck, they lived until they got to the hospital.
Yeah,
that was the rule.
You were saying that, but let's look. All right, Ebenezer, we're already on the other side, so let's just continue discussing it. So, heaven and hell. It's. Heaven and hell doesn't really fit into the modern, not just that, but with the Hindu and the Kabbalah, where you've got the tree of life, and But it goes further deeper than that, from the hypnotherapy session in 1947, and even Edgar Casey hinted on the same thing, where down the rabbit hole. As singularity finite as the human individual in the Western Hemisphere, Americans have this, and Europeans too, from time post-Christian influence, center of the universe, center of the galaxy, God's favorite, blah, 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 blah. But all religion stems from trying to explain things we don't understand until science catches up and then gives us the real explanation for the religious explanation. That being said, where the 1940, I think it was 47, hypnotherapy session where they put that woman under, and they have her talking about it, there's recordings of it. Long ago, there was this galactic empire on a multi-dimensional existence, and it no longer exists. But Earth is and it's true, Earth is a beautiful prison, but Earth effectively is a detainment area while souls are being worked on. And that fits into, well, with the Hindu, you've just got to do it's the same. You're fighting against yourself and trying to better yourself. And if you are fighting against you, the old you has to die for the new you to evolve and keep going on down the thing. And this is dumbed down in Western civilization to a Puff the Magic Dragon, Jackie Draper, Jackie Paper kind of scenario where, dude, that was brilliant and awesome and amazing, but you need to move on. You got to do other stuff now. You can't hang out in Honolulu forever with Puff. He's got other kids he needs to help. He is the fun facilitator, but he's also the transitionary, oh God, what are those? Psychophants? No, it's a different word. The beings that facilitate the living to the dead, the land of the dead. There's an actual term for that but that's along the same kind of lines, where it's when you go from infancy to childhood to preteen to teen to older teen to adult to all these other things, you're still chiseling away at the marble sculpture of the self. And the same thing on a much larger scale is happening in the universe, where it's like, that's why Albert Brooks's Defending Your Life movie is so brilliant, because it's the essence of what the Kabbalah is and what the galactic machine is. Okay, you don't fit in the ranks. You're defective. That's not a bad thing. That's just something we need to work on. Okay, fear. Okay, what are you afraid of? Okay, so you go through your whole life dealing with fear. At the end of the life, you've either overcome your fear or you haven't. If you have, you become a more important cog in the universal, galactic, interdimensional, gung-ho superorganism. If not, you go back to Earth. You start all over. It'll be all right. It'll be okay.
Learning to do.
Yeah.
All of it is, and dependent upon the individual's belief in reincarnation and all the other aspects. But the purpose is to learn certain aspects, certain rules. Kabbalah talks about certain aspects and rules of life and being and essence and entity. But there are many other similar ideas. That's one of the things that I love about it, is when you review a lot of these ancient teachings that have come back again. They come back over and over. They get a new name this year. We're going to give it we're going to rebrand it this year because we're going to resell it. Off it goes. But it's been around for millennia.
Yeah.
The idea that there are, in the most basic format, there are certain rules, there are certain standards, there are certain lessons that need to be learned. And each entity, whatever it is that makes you, needs to learn these ideas and have these capacities and have these understandings before you can progress, as you said, to that next level that we have very little understanding of, but it then probably perpetuates a similar process because now, think of it, I liken it when I'm explaining it to somebody, I liken it to you're going through school. You went to kindergarten because you had to learn how to interact. You went to first grade because there were certain things you needed to learn.
Learn how to hold a pencil.
Right. You went through high school because you had to learn certain aspects of life and skills to be able to be an integral part of this universe that we are able to operate on. And some went further. They got other education. They went through different programs to learn things to become someone more important in some aspect of what this universe itself is. This universe being what we do right here on this big blue marble going through space.
Yeah.
And so that's the same idea that if by the time you pass away, you haven't learned those things that the universal constant, whatever, has decided you need to know, then you may be sent back. You may have to go back for an 099 class because you need some remedial education.
Yeah.
And we go from there.
And it's, if you were the Anunnaki and you couldn't get the amount of equipment to build the robots, but here's these genetically, hate to use the word inferior because they're just life forms, they're just organisms, they're just on this planet. But let's help them out a little. Well, at some point, they're going to reach advanced sentience. So how do you explain shit to them? I mean, how do you sit there to Australopithecines and go, okay, long ago there was a galactic war, let's just say that, and so when you die, this is what's going to happen, but don't worry about it. No, dude, they're going to flip out. I mean, the concept of death is terrifying alone to carbon-based life forms, let alone, because I'm sure the reptilians and the grays and the blues and the Anunnaki and the Nords and all of the other 58 or whatever races that are out there in space laughing at us because we're a zoo. They're all dialed in. They all know about the thing that grabs the soul and puts it through the evaluation process, and it either goes forward or goes back. Because even as a child, I've never been able to swallow the concept of heaven and hell. It just, it's filled with plot holes. Wait a minute, so we just sit on clouds and play harps and I hang out with all my dead pets and relatives? Yeah. Well, then what? What do you mean, well, then what? Well, then what? I mean, aren't we doing like science or, construction? Isn't there going to be like a project? Which vehicle are we restoring?
See, that's why I like the Norse idea better. If you're chosen correctly, you either get to go to the big hall and you get to drink and carouse and act like an asshole and tell all kinds of lies until such time as the big war comes. Or
prove it.
you get to go to the other hall, which is Freya's hall, which is actually more akin to the Elysian Fields from the Greek and Romans.
Okay, I was going to bring that up next.
Which is because you get to go there, where you get to reunite with your family and those folks who are there. So the Norse idea, which follows other older ideas, other older religions, because it's a common story. Either you're somebody who has a certain skill set and they need to press you into this part of it because I need you at some point in the future. Or you lack that skill, but you have these skills and I need you to go over here and you're going to help these people out.
Yeah.
You're going to go do this. Or You are absolutely the worst of the worst. I got no use for you. I got somebody here who is really interested in teaching you why you're an idiot. And they're going to have a field day with you for a while until such time as we reset the whole damn thing.
So everything goes back to zero.
That's right. So you're going to get a chance all over again. Try again. But it's going to take a while, and your life is really going to, or your afterlife is really going to suck for a while.
Yeah. No, that's, I guess, because Clay and I were talking, we were eating dinner and watching a video on his phone, and heaven and hell were never used as punishments or rewards during childhood. My mother never used like the devil or hell or anything like that. It was more, you're going to end up under the 7th Street Bridge. So it caused not afraid of homeless people because, dude, I've taken a whole lot of karate and been in a whole bunch of fights. That's not a problem. It's more of the fear of the terror of the concept to be, the 7th Street Bridge doesn't really exist anymore. I mean, it kind of does, but it doesn't in Phoenix. But that was also something that was a threat in Philadelphia because there was a large homeless community in that area back east. I don't know about today. I don't live there, but that was something that I look back on, and it's like, my parents never even bought into the Catholicism. My father came out directly and said it, but that's not something my mother would admit to because that would give up control, and that's not something that's going to happen.
Yeah. My parents were never did that either. My father was Irish Italian Catholic from San Francisco, but he never did the you got to worry about the devil and all this. Never did any of that. In the house, it was always you worried about the old man, because if you screwed up big, the old man was going to take care of business. And when it came to my mother's family, my grandfather, they were from North Carolina. His family was Scottish, and my grandmother's family was German. So they were good. They were good Protestants from North Carolina.
We're Lutheran.
Grandfather had my grandfather Papa had what we all knew to be the Big Five, and you never wanted to get the Big Five. The Big Five was right there.
Yeah, my father never used a belt or anything. He used his hand, and that was more than enough. Ow.
That's right, and it wasn't a continuous beating. It wasn't you're going to get 5 swats. It was you're going to get one.
Oh,
and you're
okay,
I'm
not doing that again. Oh my God, he's really strong.
Exactly. It's like a meme on Facebook. So many of us Gen Xers look so young because we got our asses beat in the next week's goddamn often that we're not really as old physically as we are chronologically.
Hold on. Never being in the SCA, never joining, never fighting, only going to fighter practice on Wednesday nights in Encanto Park. I'm sure it's still going on. Never being to a war. My mom would have done all right in the, Rapier area because looking back now, that was straight up vicious abuse. But now as an adult, we would watch Bill Cosby himself, and then it would get to that point where he would talk about Camille viciously beating the children with a yardstick. That's like a thing in Philadelphia. That's like, and my mom would go and swing, and she would pull at the last second and get just under your ass cheeks on your thighs. So that's not something you're going to see in public. That's up higher than the level of the shorts. Or she would use Dr. Scholl's or wooden spoons. I think I broke 10 spoons. The Dr. Scholl's hurt the most because those are just like solid wooden shoes. Those really hurt. Everything else breaks. Yardsticks break. That's like a switch.
Well,
I'll get a real thin one.
And our generation was interesting because our parents were used to corporal punishment from essentially non-family members. My father would have gotten beaten by the nuns or the priests. That was not an unheard of thing.
Yeah.
In his day, when I was young, I had a principal at the grade school who took great pride in all the paddles that he had on his wall. And he had threatened to paddle me one time.
Mm.
And I was rather young. I had screwed up. I don't even remember what I did, but I had made a mistake. I screwed up. And it was a paddling offense in the principal's. But the principal called to let my father know. And that scared me more than being paddled by the principal. My father came down there. And while I was sitting in the principal's office, my father walked in and he said, "Explain to me what's going on." And the principal said, "Well, I'm going to paddle your son, and this is the reason why, and this is what happened, and I need to let you know." My father stood up. Now, my father was all of 5'9", but he was a command officer in the Air Force. So he stood up, and he put his hands on the desk and leaned across, and he looked the principal. I remember this scared the shit out of me more than anything else that could have ever happened.
More than the principal.
He looked into the principal's eyes, didn't yell, didn't scream. He just gave that command presence. He said, "If my son is in need of corporal punishment, I will do so. I will take care of it. You will explain to me what happened. I will correct the action."
Yep.
He said, "But understand, if you strike my son for any reason, I will take each one of these paddles that you have on this wall, and I will break them over your ass. And that will be the last time you will do that to anyone's child, ever." And the principal was just like, he says, "Now, explain to me what happened." And my father gave me a talking to, and that never had a problem in school again. But it was one of those cases, it was like, holy shit, the old man is, the old man is the one to be worried about.
You don't really realize, I mean, your dad, when he's angry, is always terrifying, but you don't really realize how terrifying your parents are until other adults react to your parents. And then you're like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I had to have a similar conversation when my boys were in high school. There was an incident with an instructor. Now, my oldest boy had a stroke in the womb, so he had a number of different difficulties. So he has on his left side, he has a stroke. His left arm has been very difficult to use. His left leg, I think, was 1.5 inches shorter than his right leg. He had various mental conditions that he overcame over time. But in the class that he was in, he had an instructor who was not well versed in dealing with introductory level high school students and algebra students. Now, my son should have never been in an algebra class. That was a problem. This instructor, apparently, according to the kids at the school who literally got up and walked out of the class and went to the dean of students to complain, had said that this instructor started throwing books, started calling the kids fucking retarded and fucking stupid.
God. What?
And now this person was from Eastern Europe, and all the kids told me was he's from Russia. I was like, okay, he probably came from Ukraine, someplace else, but it doesn't matter. So all of this happened.
There's a lot of countries there.
Yeah, I got home from work. I was working at the county at the time, and I had gotten home early that day, and my youngest son and his girlfriend and my oldest son didn't want to talk about it. He was very upset because he felt horrible. The person had dressed everybody down in the class, but he was there and he took it very personally. Mm. And so they told me what happened. It was like 3:30, so the school, all the administration was still in the school. So I picked up the phone and I called the front office and I told them who I was and I wanted to talk to the principal. And the secretary, well, sir, I said, no, you don't understand. I heard what happened in the math class. My son gave him his name. I said, he is very upset and this has caused a great deal of difficulty. I want to talk to the principal now. Put him on the phone, or the next time you see me will be tomorrow morning. And you had better have all of the district officers in the school, because I'll be coming down there with folks from the Arizona Department of Education, because I will be preferring formal complaints. And I read him the Riot Act. I pulled up the state statutes for the Arizona Education Department, and I'm reading on the computer. So the principal gets on the phone, and I gave him about a 35-minute. I kept him late, put it that way. About a 35-minute earful of what was going on.
Poor principal.
And I said, I will be at the school tomorrow afternoon. I want to hear from you directly, how you're correcting the situation. And I want to know why my son, who was supposed to have an individual education plan because of his developmental disabilities, why he was in this class to begin with, what's going on. So I get down there the next afternoon with my now ex-wife, and the principal is apologizing, and they've got the school psychologist and all the special education program folks. Well, we wanted to apologize, and we've addressed it with the teacher and all of this, but you had mentioned an IEP, an individual education plan. Why do you think your son needs one? I said, madam, he's had one since kindergarten. And they all went pale. And I brought in copies of all of his IEPs from the past. So, needless to say, I became the parent that the front desk secretary watched out for. Because if I was in a closed room with the principal or somebody like that, they could hear me outside because I went full gunnery sergeant on people. But I never did it in an open area. The idea was not to embarrass. I'm not going to embarrass you in front of all of your staff unless that becomes a necessity. But I will shoot your ass pretty strong. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. I'm going to be as cordial as I can be until you cross the line. Then all bets are off. Not half the
for
bets.
4 years, for 5 years, because the boys were 1 year off of each other. For 5 years, I was the guy that the secretary at the school was like, oh, hi. What's going on today, Mr. Hemby?
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm just here picking up my son. Oh, that's wonderful. Where is he?
It depended on the school and what was going on, but for the most part, they loved me on school trips. Okay, everybody, you need somebody that can yell for 4 hours? I am your man.
That's right. Line up.
Yeah.
I was known in the neighborhood as the dad who helped with homework.
The dad who what?
Because the dad that helped with homework. I never gave him the answer. But I did what I was always taught. Okay, here's where the answer lies, but you got to go find it. When you think you found it, come back and tell me. We'll review it. We'll see if that's the answer. If it's not, I'll tell you. And I'll tell you to look a little further, look over here, check this out. But I'm not going to give you the info. I'm going to make you find it. And ultimately, every one of my kids graduated high school. And they all got passing grades. They all got A's, B's, or C's. They all passed their senior papers. Even my son, the oldest boy, passed his senior paper. He got a C on it. I didn't write it. I tried like hell to keep his mother from writing any of it. And to my knowledge, his special education instructors, his English instructors, I went a couple of times a year. I went to parent-teacher nights. They had my phone number to call me if they had concerns.
Yeah.
And they all told me, no, he did his work. We don't believe he got anybody else to write it. We think he did well. There are certain things when you look at the paper, that's okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I had that reputation as the guy that, Well, my friend's having a hard time with his math. Well, tell him to get his book, get his ass over here. That we're not having dinner for another hour and a half. He's got time.
Sit at the table and I will yell at you about times tables until you understand.
That's right. Sit at the table. I'll teach you all the tricks. Well, they want us to use the new math. Fuck the new math. You're going to use the traditional math. It was good enough for Archimedes. It's good enough for you. Here's how you answer the question.
I'll get you a drill. It'll be fine. No, there's a lot to say for the old ways. They were the old ways for a long time. We got new ways now, but we shouldn't forget the old ways, because now and then you'll come up against old tech or old philosophy, and, well, if you have no old world training, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your new math doesn't work in my old forge.
Yeah. Forged in the fires of new math.
Forged in the fires of Mount Silly shit.
Yeah.
Come here.
It's weird. As much as I claim, I'm not very good at math, a lifetime of role-playing games says otherwise. And a lifetime of cashiering and doing everything. It's just, I just don't have a lot of tactile experience with the advanced math. Because that was, I know I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again, and one day we'll hopefully get her on the show, but Christine and I met in 99, and then we started dating, and then she left her fiance and moved in with her friend, and then eventually moved in here, and it's like, okay, you're going to have to learn how to play Dungeons and Dragons and Shadowrun and all these other games that I play, because I would much rather have you playing make-believe with us than, when are you leaving? When are they leaving? You're ordering pizza again? They've been here for 6 hours. Oh my God.
Yep.
I just, every woman I've ever been with, I've forced to play role-playing games and Dungeons and Dragons. Some of them were really good at it. Some of them didn't really like it. Okay, no problem. But at least now we know this is what I'm doing on Friday night. Where are you going? John's house. Where are you going? Nowhere. Everybody's coming here. It's going to be fucking awesome.
See, my ex wouldn't play D&D because it was beneath her, but she played the original Final Fantasy stuff. So I had to build her the fucking gaming rig so she could go online.
Yeah.
And that was a big argument. The boys thought it was the funniest thing they'd ever heard because she was like, well, it's completely different. Really? That's an orc. You want me to give you all of his stats?
6.5 feet tall, greenish, brownish, bluish, depending on
how many hit points does he have? He's got 56 hit points. Oh, wait a minute. What level is he showing out there? He's a level 8. He's got 136, doesn't he? Oh, my mistake, 142. The game added something.
How do you know that? It's so funny that you say that, too, because so many... I saw it and heard about it. My friend's brother did it. We never had an opportunity to do it. I don't know what it is. I've never heard about that, or I've seen it in the bookstore or whatever. Those guys are weird with the dice. Or best friend's brother would never let us play, so we used to spy on them. And we used to steal the books and the dice. So they're actually, that group of girls is actually the most well-versed in the Dungeons and Dragons or whatever game that they've never actually played. So what happened with us is that it wasn't a hard sell for Christine. She was already doing Ren Fair. She always wanted to play it, but was apprehensive because it's a huge world to jump into if you don't know anything about it. And if you don't have somebody that's like a super geek and it's like, oh my God, let me tell you all about Forgotten Realms. It's not like now where there's the movie Honor Among Thieves, which is like really good. And, it's got problems. dude, it's not perfect. It's a movie. No, no.
It's Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
None of it is perfect. It's a fantasy realm.
the 99 one sucked, but there it is on the shelf, and I've seen it about 6 times. I agree, it sucks. It's horrible, but it's Dungeons and Dragons. So that's human nature.
That's the one that you watch at 3 a.m. in the morning when everybody is really just punch drunk from being up so long, and you have a good time. That ranks right up there with the original Turtles movies.
Yes.
That's the fun stuff.
Well,
they're not cinematic masterpieces.
Romance novels, and now all the smut with billionaire werewolf with bat wings and the milking farm and all that. So it's not all that far off, but Christine was also an avid Zelda player, an avid Final Fantasy player. There were two or three others that she played. So the concept of D&D, and the problem was that we were reforming and D&D was not on the table. We were all burned out from D&D. We were playing it for a while, and then we reformed an old group with some new people. And the first, like and subscribe, 100% Pure Bar, folks. The best thing you can do when you're playing a brand new tabletop role-playing game, because if you're super lucky and the group is super tight and awesome, that character may last forever. But to be honest, the first character you ever play in the first kind of game, the game you play, you're probably not going to play that character for more than 2 years, and then you're never going to play that character again, ever, unless there's like some, hey, do you have a Starfinder character? Holy shit, I do. Here he is. Other than that, you're not going to really play it again, so don't go crazy worrying about designing the character for the first time you play the game. That being said, Christine wanted to play magic characters, but I kind of pushed her into a Street Sam, and she had a ball once once we told her that she could have a prehensile tail, cybernetic tail in her body, and then have a monofilament whip in the end of that, which extensively gave her kick, spin, jump a 9-foot reach, and dude, so many successes or decapitations with a monofilament whip. I mean, that's just cutting through everything.
Yep.
So she was hooked. And then the second go round, she had a combat mage, and then later the one that the 5-year game, she was a street shaman, and she was a gargoyle shaman, and that gave a -2 casting during the day, +2 at night to everything. So that's not a hard sell. Most of your shadow running you're doing at night. Most of the time you're asleep during the day, unless you have to do like, dude, we've got a meeting at 10:30 with the, Mitsuhama people. Oh, fuck. Okay, So that's how I learned that I knew algebra at 9, even though I failed it like 3 or 4 times from middle school to even my junior year in high school, because I just couldn't get it. But I'm like, okay, well, this is how magic works. This is the level you know the spell at. These are the dice you are going to roll, because that's the level you know the spell at, and then your target number would be the random willpower of the dude that you're fighting, because that's going to change in every single scenario for each encounter that you're having. And then the drain would be the number of this divided by that, and then if you roll this much and so many, then you don't take drain, but if this much, you have a slight headache. But if you're casting like a Man of Blast level 8 and you fail your drain, you're probably gonna die. I mean, that would fucking kill you. You'd have an aneurysm or some kind of stroke in the bad way, a grand mal seizure perhaps, because the way that game works, you're using your body as the conduit for magic in between the ethereal, the astral or the ethereal plane. So you have to roll. in D&D, you remember 3/4 of the spell, and then when you're in the combat or you're detecting alignment or whatever, you do that, and then it disappears out of your mind. In Shadowrun, you spend like however many hours or weeks learning the spell, and then you cast it, and then you roll drain, and if you survive your drain, you can cast that spell again next round. So imagine if you went into a fight in D&D, and you could just keep casting magic missile till you pass out. At level 20, when you're like shooting out 10 of them from, boom! Did I succeed?
That's right.
You successfully drain. Boom! Next round. Dude, it would be... Shadowrun is brutal.
I cast Thunderclap with magic missile and fireball. Yeah. Fuck everybody.
Delayed blast. Shadowrun's brutal because it's the extent of the caster's willpower. How you throw mana ball, you throw power ball, and you just keep going. And as long as you resist, did I resist the drain? Yeah, you're fine. Oh, you almost resisted it completely. You have a slight headache.
Yeah. See, I used to when I used to teach the kids, all the guys, all the kids that would come over that needed math help, and they could. I don't understand algebra. I don't get it. I don't get it. Say, okay, what do you not understand? What the hell is X, Y, and Z? Come here. Said, I'm going to teach you what algebra is. You use it every day when you go to the store. Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, said, okay, you got $20 in your pocket, and you know you have $20 in your pocket.
Tax is algebra.
You want to get and just you want to get a soda pop, you want to get a bag of chips, and you want to get a sandwich. So how much is that? If the bag of chips is this much, and the sandwich is this much, and the soda pop is this much, how much is it going to cost you? Well, I add the three together. But what's taxed? Huh? What's taxed?
9%.
You're going to get charged tax. So and they look at it. So you know 2 out of the 3 things that you need to know. So you know the total amount that you have that you can spend. And you know the cost of these materials, but you don't know what the tax is to tell you what the total amount is you're going to spend and how much you're going to have left over. And they look at you and they go, oh shit. Yeah. My oldest boy could never figure out fractions. Couldn't conceptualize. So what was the fastest way to teach him fraction? I brought out a big bag of coins. And I dumped them out. I said, find a quarter in there. And he went, look, we pulled out a quarter. I said, how many of those make $1? 4. So 1 over 4.
50 of them.
That's a quarter.
Nowadays.
And that was how he learned how to do fractions. And he looked at me and said, this is kind of easy. I said, yeah, when you look at it with something that you like, as opposed to an abstract idea, this is much more useful for you. You need that. You need that tie to reality as opposed to the abstraction. Others, they don't like the tie to reality. They could live in the abstract world. And those are the people that go on to do extraordinary things with differential equations and all the rest of that.
Oh, yeah. It was interesting, too, because if you have been playing video games, it's not that hard to transition over to tabletop RPGs, Dungeons and Dragons, and all of the like. Now, with Christine, I mean, am I a good DM because I kept a game going for like 5.5 years? Is that a good mark of, because it wasn't the only one, there was a lot of other ones before that, but Cookie, who is no longer with us, he was a really good DM. He was a lot like Rob. They have a very similar style, because each dungeon master has a style. There's the guy with all the books and the notes and the maps and the cardboard and everything, and then there's the don't we need books? Oh no, it's fine. Don't you need a book? No, we have dice. Well, don't we need character sheets? Oh, are you out of printer paper? And equal of those can be a fantastic voyage. They can be an amazing deal. It really comes down to, if you have a DM that wants to punish all the players, the game is going to suck. If you have a DM that wants to... Dungeons and Dragons is a mix of your favorite storytelling. So, which kind of storytelling do you like? Do you want the DM to be a kind of daddy or director kind of thing, where it's the guy in the red robes from the cartoon in the 80s? Oh, good job, Ranger. Am I leading you a breadcrumb trail to follow? Or are you the more harsh older brother, or the bullying technique of lessons, where I'm going to let you know after the fact and then lecture the fuck out of you because I have this opportunity to verbally punish you because you made a mistake in a game of make-believe, and now we have to have an hour, repartee about how much, well, I would have done it. Well, you're not playing. You're the DM. You're not supposed to punish us. That's not how this works. Or even worse, rules lawyer. Because rules lawyers are the worst. They're bureaucrats. And there's rules lawyers DMs, and there's rules lawyers... It's a lot to say. Too many nouns. We gotta have pronouns. Too many of these bureaucrat rules guys, and they can destroy the game because they're a carryover from not just MMORPGs, not just all that other stuff, but they're a carryover from work and sports and like board games and card games, where the rules are more important to them than just the enjoying the human experience. Look, we're here to play. This is fun. I'm with my friends. We're having a good time. Your rules lawyers and bureaucrats will go out of their way to destroy all of the fun. Just because that's what they do. They're nerds. Sorry.
That's what I was grateful for with ours when we brought Isabel in. Because our game is the immersive. It is how I introduced my boys to Dungeons and Dragons, basically through using old time radio plays.
Yeah,
and that's the way Rob does it when we're doing it. He is presenting it. If you closed your eyes and you listened in, you wouldn't have to see anything else because he's spinning the tale. Yeah. You're becoming immersed, and all of the action, all of the visuals are actually coming from your own brain. So what I'm seeing, what Isabel sees, what you see, what Chris sees, what Zachary sees, what Ed sees, all of that is unique to each of us, but we're all immersed in the same tale. And everyone is having a good time with that aspect of it. And that is where I think you find a truly great game master, dungeon master, storyteller. If we're going back to the old traditions, so 10,000 years ago, Rob was the guy that would come out in the cloak at the fire, at the solstice, and he would have 2 or 3 people to help. And somebody would be shaking a rattle, and somebody would be clanging 2 pieces of copper together, and somebody else. But he's telling the tale, and we're all immersed in it. We can all visualize it. We can all be a party to it. We can all enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's the big difference. When you find that person, they're extraordinary, and that's why, that's why that's the kind of thing that I've always looked for and enjoyed in this type of a game experience, as opposed to the person who wants to do the mechanicals. That's why I sometimes had a hard time playing some of the skirmish tabletop games where you were doing unit tactics, because you had far less of the storytelling.
Yeah.
And then it was just a game of Risk. And I've got 10 units here, and you've got 10 units there, and we're going to fight it out.
I love
So,
Risk.
Well, Risk can be a lot of fun, but again, Risk becomes fun when you've got the tails behind it.
You
when
can
it's
do,
just...
I agree with you. You can do both.
No.
You can do both.
Yeah.
You can totally do both. You can take the aspect... That's where, going back to the original point, with Christine, she had no point of reference, and you're going to learn this. And she grabbed it with both hands. Even so, if I put together another game, she would probably join again. Even though we're not married anymore, even though we don't really talk, and now we live 2 different houses, it was that much of an impact on her that it was fun. It was okay. I talked to everybody. Saturday night, 6 o'clock, we'll get Sardella's Pizza and Wings. Gabe one of them may spend the night, if they have too much to drink, because you don't want anybody drinking and driving. Oh, okay, that'd be great. Sure enough, that was Monday. 2 days later, Tuesday or Wednesday. You think everybody would want to come over Friday? So that's how every week, we ended up playing like 2 or 3 nights a week. Minimum of 6 or 7 hours a night, because they were really into the story. And, oh, dude, it's Shadowrun. I have so much to throw at you. There's so much corporate intrigue and backstabbing in a way. It's cyberpunk, but with magic.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm enjoying about watching Isabel. Now Natalie is hearing about it. She's piqued. I don't know that she's as interested in it. She's much more the girly girl. She's 13 years old.
Excuse me.
My grandson Aiden, I think, would be interested in it, but it's hard to get him pried away from his mother at the time, from what I'm hearing. So, but I think that I'm hoping that because my oldest is supposed to be coming out from Mississippi, and they're going to be here on Boxing Day. So I'm hoping they'll get a chance to get together. But if they make it out and Aiden come over and all the grandchildren can talk, then I think that'll be an opportunity that maybe we can get him interested in it. And I think it would be great to see them picking up with some of their friends and trying to get the idea, maybe, because it's easy to find in their group someone who they feel is a good storyteller, who might enjoy crafting a little tale, or putting together something.
Well, okay, whether the DM is a younger person, or an older person, it depends on the individual. Really, age has, like you said, you have to be a storyteller. But I have to say, most of the best games are with mixed-aged groups. Because old people aren't going to look at a scenario with a fresh perspective, and young people aren't going to look at a scenario with wisdom. And you need those two things in puzzle solving and dungeons and towns and clues and storylines. And so Willow is all excited about it. Beth and Chip, I think, have come around. This coming Saturday, Beth has to work. I should probably go over there tomorrow and talk to Chip after he's done with work. But I'm hoping. But again, and then Clay wanted to join us. He needs to start gaming again. He's really down for Starfinder. And hello, Clay, everybody. Rob's waving. So maybe we could start another Starfinder.
We can always come up with something, because I'll tell you what my dream is. My dream is that the grandkids get interested enough in this that they start bringing some of their buddies together. And then it becomes a matter of, hey, we could go over to my papa's house. Well, yeah, I think I can find some people that might be interested in playing a game if you guys would like to learn.
Yeah.
And, to me, that's a great thing. And I like the idea of it, because to me, it's reminiscent of when I was their age, when I was young, and this kind of a thing would happen. And it became a matter that we went to somebody's house because all of the parents felt comfortable and they knew, oh, this person's, oh, you're going to be there. Shh, I got no worry about. You're safer there than you're going to be there with Papa Bear. Yeah, you're going to be as safer than if you were surrounded by the 101st Airborne. You're fine. Have a good time.
But it's also social interaction, because you don't always get to interact with strange adults or strange little kids, for that matter. And it would be great if we could do a game, like 3 games a month. Like, I would be super happy with that. Since we already have this game going and Rob's running that game, I don't want to. I also don't want to ask you, hey, can you run another game? You know, that I feel like an asshole doing that. And I got too much shit going on right now to run a game myself, and terminal DM burnout, man.
We can come up with something and give them an opportunity to try, even if we run another D&D game to let them do it. But I wouldn't have a problem introducing it once they get interested and they get hooked and they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Then they might have an interest in trying another flavor of role-playing game that's similar, because this game is easy to understand and to learn, and you can build your skill set very quickly with this. Isabel picked up very fast, and so it becomes something that becomes really easy for them to understand without having a broad depth of knowledge in this game system. How it works is simple enough that they can carry on. They can learn the nuances. You know, you sure the book. We all looked at the books. Oh wow, I could go up to level 45 and I could become a god. But
I can
that
go
takes
to the
time. And I don't want to do that.
and just start smacking everybody around when I get. Yeah, I got ethereal field plate +4. Well, it's. How long does a game take? A lifetime. Well, when does it end? When your team dies? When your character dies? Well, what happens if you're playing the team and you die and the team keeps going? You make another character and you're usually inserted at the next town.
Yeah, and somehow you get to get back into the game because you're a new character.
I saw a meme, and they really need to do it where in the next D&D movie that they make, they need to have a thing where the main character, he's like a rogue or something, and the character dies. And then at the next town, they meet that actor again, but he's like a fighter. And he has to join the... It's like, that is D&D right there. Oh, hello.
Exactly.
It's this guy. No, he's dead. Remember the... And they do that joke in, what is it, Darkness Rising? The movie that I keep going on and out. Because they all die, and then they all make new characters, and then they go back to this one point, and they meet up with the dude that has their pack mule and all of their stuff from the old... He doesn't know who you are. You're new people.
You got to figure something out.
Yeah.
I got to run to the restroom real quick.
Okay.
So talk amongst yourself.
Okay. I'll sit here and Clay and I will sit here and try to look like a lot of people. But that was one of the main things in the first D&D movie. Had a lot of growing pains, and Hollywood was severely involved. And even though you watch the behind the scenes and the guys talk about playing D&D at length, I don't think you guys had the best DM, because players don't run around spouting what level they are. Usually they had the title. We talked about it in many other, keep repeating this, where you would say like, it's like Steve and then there would be a title for a 4th or 5th level fighter. Or, Johan, the Myriadon, or swordsman, or whatever. So it was a bit more... I don't know they structured, but the first movie, and then I think I have copies of the second one. Because apparently the second one and the third one were okay. And I don't know what happened, and now Honor Among Thieves, and it was actually really good. I was impressed. Because, you first encounter Michelle Rodriguez in The Fast and the Furious, and then on Lost, and, whoa, I mean, honey, you've nailed the angry chick, but what else you got? And really, to be honest, as much as I didn't care for her, I found myself emotionally involved and empathetically, rooting for her in the Honor Among Thieves, because they're screw-ups. And anybody who's ever, been a screw-up or had a lot of times messing things up can totally relate to that kind of character personality trait, because, well, hey, yeah, I'm not perfect either. I mess things up all the time. This appeals to me. That, and most of those fights were pretty well choreographed. They did a lot of fan service to video games and the cartoon and other, like, things that are known in Baldur's Gate, because Baldur's Gate was a fun video game. I played the first one and the second one. I can't afford the third one, nor I don't think my old computer could handle that, to be honest. But Baldur's Gate is a major city on the Sword Coast, which is like, 10 towns on the top of the world and the spine of the world and Neverwinter, and then you come down and Waterdeep, and then, you go down, and Baldur's Gate is kind of like, I think it's almost midway, because there's Kalashan. There's a bunch of cities. Also, it's that argument of, why have this great road that bandits can attack you on when you can just fill ships and then sail down the coast? Oh, well, there's pirates. Well, it's just a lose-lose scenario then, isn't it? We're going to get robbed by pirates on land or pirates by sea. But that makes it a fun scenario. It doesn't have to make sense. It's a fantasy game where magic and dragons exist. All of your reality is null and void. But yeah, I was surprised. Not really. Most people that are higher IQ, they flock to role-playing games. It's a good escape. You don't have to think. I mean, well, obviously you have to think. It's strategy. But you don't have to be, burdened with the mundane banality of everything you have to do during the day, when you can just, dude, I'm going to be a wizard. Yeah! So it's a lot more fun. And even Shadowrun, you're essentially a criminal. You're doing crime. The secret ingredient is crime in the game, because that's the whole concept of Shadowrun. Is it's a endeavor that a corporation needs to have done, but they don't want any association with it whatsoever. So they hire somebody in the game, and they're everywhere. They're in bars, they're in cafes, they're on the streets, some of them. Mr. Johnson. Really, the dude's got like a real name, but hi, I'm Mr. Johnson. I work for an employer who needs a task done in the most discreet manner possible. So you're being hired by a third or fourth party entity to complete a highly illegal task for an unknown, unnamed, unfathomed boss, I guess. That's the fun of Shadowrun. It's an intrigue on top of an enigma, packed with a mystery, and then a suspense, and all the while people are shooting at you and throwing magic at you. And there's dragons. Yeah. So, and like the Jamaicans have taken over the space station. Shadowrun's wild. The elves are just like, okay, Oregon is ours now. It's Tyre, Terran, Gyre. We own this shit. And you're like, wait a minute. No. You got to go to Seattle. You got to get the hell out of here. This is ours now. We own this. We got signs up and everything. Can't you read? No, that's in Magic Elven. I can't read that. Oh, that's too bad for you, huh? Oh, well. So that's what's weird with Shadowrun is it's kind of like Soylent Green because in 2011, when Daniel Howling Coyote orchestrated a great ghost dance with multiple tribe dignitaries and representatives, he erupted the Ring of Fire and started the dawning. Because Earth Dawn is about magic is going to sleep and everybody's losing their power. Where Shadowrun is everything's waking up and magic is super powerful now and let's melt people's faces off and So it's a bit of a contrast into the two dynamics of the game. But when that happened, all of the Native American tribes were just like, this is our land now. And everybody just kind of ran to Phoenix, ran to Seattle, ran to Denver, and California remained a free state, but it's just it's actually more accurate to what California is like in Shadowrun 2055 than me. Sorry, that was rude. It's all on fire. There's just armies of homeless. Work is hard to come by, but it's still a functioning. Also, America fractured in Shadowrun. So you have the United Canadian and American states, and then you have the Confederate American states. So you have this weird Civil War thing, but the new war, Civil War, and the new, they still wear like the KKK outfits, but they're color coded to their rank. It's really weird. And now it's like not about skin color, it's about them damn elves, those damn orcs, those trolls, those dwarves. So they're against all metahumans. So it doesn't matter if you're Chinese or Japanese or black or it absolutely does not matter. It matters because 10% of the Earth went through a process called goblinization, and that's fun in Shadowrun. So you're a human, and it's 2077, and you're a human male, and you meet a human female, and you're like, hey baby. And you hook up and you get married and you have a kid. And that kid is a human. And that kid hits puberty and turns into an elf. Troll, orc, dwarf. Two trolls could get together and have a kid. The kid's going to be a troll or a human at birth, mostly a human. Most children are born human. Then as soon as they hit puberty, you could be a fucking Sasquatch after that. It's totally fucking random. That part's fun, because then that makes the humanists null and void. Because it's like, dude, you could have a orc child or a troll child. Then what are you going to do? That, and like Cyberpunk, in Shadowrun, the governments got together and the corporations got together and they declared corporate land as sovereign nation. So when you're going to the, Mitsuhama arcology, that's you're going to another country. You have to go through a checkpoint and have all your papers and not be carrying any weapons and have clearance, and there has to be a reason you're going in there. And shopping is the most common. It's an arcology. They have a huge, like, 3-story mall. Of course you're going to go shopping. Even if you're there to kill somebody, you're going to shop first. They can have some cool stuff. Are you back now?
And we're back.
Awesome. I am excited, since we're talking about futuristic video games, RPGs. I belong to several Star Frontiers groups on Facebook, and there is Japanese animation of a Star Frontiers cartoon called Horizon Gambit, and it's a female. It's a female Yazarian, a human female. Dralizites are, they're both. They bud. They're like Zoidberg. No. I thought I saw a Vrusk, but the Sathar look a lot more demon looking than worms. I mean, they still look like worms, but they have these big, jagged teeth that I don't think they had those in the role-playing game. But it looks pretty badass because it's all anime style, and yeah, that looks neat. Also, I totally want to apologize because I bought 2 things of the fish planks, and I totally had the intent of cooking them tonight, but that just didn't happen. So tomorrow night, chili one more night. Dinner is dinner. Yeah. Fish, it's brain food. Eat a lot of it, as much as you can. So, yes, anytime you have a future game, you're going to have corporations, corporate intrigue, corporate backstabbing, and like Star Frontiers and Star Trek and Star Wars and Shadowrun, especially Cyberpunk, all that stuff. It's fucking loaded with that shit. It's everywhere. It's all over the place. Because one of my favorite movies, because it's absolutely over the top, and I haven't watched it in about 8 years, but I love it. And that is Judge Reinhold, Jane Seymour, Rick Moranis, Danny DeVito, Head Office.
Okay.
Because that movie is just so insane. But if you've ever done a lot of work in the corporate sector, oh my God, that movie is just like a documentary. You are just screwing your way to the top. Well, I wouldn't be very successful if I was screwing my way to the bottom now, would I, Jane Seymour? Anyway. But yeah, that's a lot of that fucking movie is Shadowrun, Starfinder, all of Starfinder, Spelljammer.
Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere?
Is that what it is? I thought it was Horizon.
That's what's coming up. It's Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere, light novel series by Minoru Kawakami.
Huh.
And it may be that I'm not able to find.
Hold on. Second Sathar War. There are ways actually content this. This is Star Frontiers Alive and Well on Facebook. It's a private group. Let me invite you. Let me invite you. Sounds so creepy.
Because I look up Horizon Gambit anime, and it comes back with Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere.
Oh. Interesting.
Featuring time travel, historical figures, a city ship called Musashi, and a world rebuilding history amidst post-apocalyptic chaos.
Huh. I hate it when they put time travel in sci-fi. Dude, it's already sci-fi. Do we have to have fucking time travel? Screw your convoluted plot device. The hell, dude? Where are you? I hate the future. Hold on. One. Hold, please. Faith and Bakura. I think you're already in the group. That's why I can't invite you. Oh well. Second Sathar War coming 2026. The Star Frontiers, the Horizon Gambit.
Okay, let's try it.
It's not giving me a lot of info. They made the Sathar look purple. They made the Dralizites look more like beer kegs than these amoeba-type aliens. So it's 2 humans, a Yazarian, a Rusk, and a Dralizite fighting the Sathar. Oh, okay. SORA2 is an artificial intelligence generative AI program. I told her I wanted an anime teaser for Star Frontiers.
Okay.
That's where this is
Somebody
coming from.
made it.
I apologize. We're constantly
No,
kids. Sorry.
Because it was interesting because I started finding others that kind of popped in and they looked very similar from 2011, 2012 animes and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was some crossover, intentional or not.
You never know. Then there's another one where it's just like a Dralizite with some bandoleros on, and he's got a laser rifle and he's running down the street. But I mean, that would probably be the easiest alien to do for AI because they're like giant amoebas with arms and legs.
I say,
yeah.
What the hell is that? That's Saturday Night in South Phoenix.
You said it.
What's going on? Well, shit, another Saturday
some
night.
Crackhead? I don't know. What the hell's going on?
That's right. That's like the meme that keeps popping up in my Facebook feed. It's, normal people. Big picture of a full moon on a Friday night. Normal people. Oh, look at that beautiful moon. EMS workers. Fuck, shit, damn it. God, no fucking way.
Here comes the crazies. No, there actually was the crazy 15.
I remember those days. Now I get to sit at home and go, haha, not me.
I don't have to hold somebody. It's okay.
That's right. 1, 2, 3, not it.
Yeah. I would really enjoy if Rob would do another Starfinder game. I mean, ultimately, I would like to play Star Frontiers, but asking somebody to run a Star Frontiers campaign is an arduous task because you have to make up 80% of the world. It's not created. It's designed for the DM to have full control.
Yeah. Let's see, are there? I'm looking up right now to see if anybody's got any kind of Star Frontiers modules. I guess is the best way.
Oh,
right?
There's a lot of. I have all of them. Well, not the 2001 anniversary ones because why would I want Hal in Star Frontiers? Aren't there enough problems in Star Frontiers without Hal? I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that. Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal. Dave? What are you doing, Dave? Why are you messing with my memory, Dave? Ugh.
I put that on my phone as, that's my message alert.
Yeah, that's
Message
creepy.
for you.
There's a message for you.
My mother hates that.
Oh, God. Well, yes, with good reason.
She's like, I hate that. I hate that. So when everybody was here for doing the Christmas tree, my sister came out from Denver, is spending time with Mom. She's flying back on Wednesday. So they were here while the grandkids were doing all of that.
Yeah.
And my phone, every time there was a message, my phone would go off, and I look at my sister because she's, what's that? I said, oh, that's Mom's favorite actor from the 1960s. And she looks, what? And my mom said, what are you saying? And then my phone goes, there's a message for you. I said, yeah, Mom, your favorite actor from the 1960s. She says, oh my God, I hate Hal.
Everyone hates Hal. Arthur C. Clarke warned us about the dangers of AI, but we did not listen. AI, I need a new girlfriend. I can't hear you, Arthur. Blah, 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 sexy time. Yeah.
I had, when I worked for the City of Surprise, I had found a couple of HAL 9000 backgrounds and voices and all the rest of that stuff. So for the longest time, I had my company computer or my city computer.
Yeah.
Hal's voice, incoming message.
No, I think you had it set up too, but I know Paul did because it sent a chill. The reason that millennials and Gen Z are not afraid and they don't understand Gen X and older's terror of because Westworld and Saturn III and Silent Running and Boy and His Dog and DEFCON 5 and I could keep going. Blade Runner and all of the sci-fi that we were raised on that was very Wells instead of it was terror sci-fi. There's going to be you're going to witness the horror of mankind and all that. So we're ready for Terminator. We're ready for war games. We're ready for the unstoppable robot that's going to kill us all. Where the millennials and the Gen Z people would take a huge hit to their entire living group before they realized, hey, this is trying to kill us, because it's so ingrained in them to trust computers.
Trust technology.
You're 2 years old. Here's your tablet. You're 5. Here's your laptop. Here's this. Oh, you're in school. Here's your laptop. So they don't have the techno fear that we and other generations were raised. They don't have the Planet of the Apes fear.
They didn't have the technological leaps that were frightening.
Yeah.
That we had, that the greatest generation walked through, that the boomers walked through, that we walked through. Because think about it this way: what was the greatest technological leap that occurred in the 1940s? Aside from everything else, we split the atom.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
we figured out how to decimate 20 square miles in the blink of an eye. Now, we figured out, because people like Einstein have been talking about, if you can figure out how to control the splitting of an atom or the fusing of an atom, you can have so much energy. You could power the entire country forever. And there was all these wonderful things. But the need was such that we need something that will frighten the shit out of people enough that will the war to end all wars bullshit. So we're going to split the atom, because when we do that, we're going to scare the shit out of everybody. Nobody's going to want to have another war. And then it became I can split the atom better than you can. Yeah. So we dealt with all that.
Try, but...
Well, it was like the space race. The space race was this incredible thing. But think about it. Sputnik went into space, scared the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
Because now we had nuclear. Now, what can they do? Well, then we had the death of the Mercury astronauts.
Yeah.
And then we had what happens if we can't bring these guys back from the Apollo mission? Everything was...
Before that, you've got the missing female cosmonaut that they received transmissions that she was radioing control, that she was losing altitude, that the cockpit was on fire. She was, whether it was in this dimension or another dimension, there were still transmissions received, because the Russians say, we don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
they had one of the largest non-nuclear explosions that was ever tracked, and it was tracked at one of their cosmodromes because one of their 10-engine rockets incinerated the facility when it blew up.
Man.
And for decades, no, this never happened.
Start at the beginning. I have to use the bathroom. It's your turn to filibuster. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Let me see if I can find that. But yeah, there was a lot that went on during our time that, the technology itself was frightening because it held so much amazing promise. There was all of this promise, but it was literally bleeding edge. More than cutting edge, it was bleeding edge. We were out there doing things where the question was not so much can we do it, but should we do it? And that's why I say that, splitting the atom to make the first atomic bomb, that was an incredible scientific breakthrough. It was damn frightening. Then all of these things that happened as we started to go into space, we wanted to go faster than the speed of sound. The speed of sound was thought to be this wall that could not be broached. And for the longest time, it was. There were a number of people who died or came very close to dying as they tried to break the sound barrier and as they tried to go faster and faster. So there was an incredible amount of technological advancement that came about that had extraordinarily violent component to it. It was very, very frightening. And that was something that, as Bill had mentioned, was very much reflected in the science fiction of the time. So the early science fiction, so you had H.G. Wells originally talking about there was all these possibilities, all these wonderful, great possibilities, but there was some kind of a catch. There was something there that could come back to bite us in the butt. Orson Welles decided to do War of the Worlds on the radio. So there's this wonderful idea of technology and space flight and all these things, but there was that hook that's going to bite you. Something's going to come back to get you.
Yeah.
So all of this technologies that the greatest generation, that the baby boomers, and then the Gen Xers lived through, we saw all of these things that became quite frightening. We watched the first people break 100 miles an hour consistently in vehicles, in cars. We watched the first person break 200 miles an hour on a drag strip, quarter of a mile. It went 200 miles an hour. Oh my God. But to get there, there was a lot of violent explosions and the vehicles were getting destroyed and hammered. The first person, the first man to go 300 miles. I remember when the first man to go 300 miles an hour on a drag strip ran. And just before that, cars had blown up. I remember the first person to try and break the speed of sound on the salt flats. This was incredible technology, the designs and everything else. And I want to say that the first 2 or 3 people who tried it were horribly injured. I believe there was at least one that was killed as a result of their actions. So all of these technological advances that happened during our lifetime, during our formative years, we're on the razor's edge. We're seeing far less of that now because we're not going back into space. We're not doing a lot of those things now where we're putting those lives in jeopardy, where we're seeing that. And now, I mean, think about it this way. The time it took to get the images back and the audio back from all of the moon shots, from the landings, from Apollo 11, Apollo 13, all of these groups. We watched in high school, we watched the space shuttle blow up. That was incredible technology. Oh my God, we watched it fly and do all of these things. It was something they wheeled in the television set so we could see it because it was another great event. It's technology. We're going into space.
It happened.
And we watched it disintegrate right before our eyes.
Yeah.
So if we were to go, when we decide to go to Mars, and the first missions that we send to Mars, those are going to be seen, much of the activity is going to be seen in near real time. So that's going to become the point where that generation, whichever generation is in their formative years, are going to start to have that kind of dangerous technology brought into their lives again. So it's going to be something to see. When we start seeing things, I mean, we're living through a time where energy weapons, energy-based weapons, so lasers or the sound wave weapons, and things like that, are so large, so heavy, rail guns and the like. They're so big that they can only be done in testing. So DARPA and those groups are testing it. Other militaries are testing it because that's where they're at. It takes far too much for that to be successful outside of a testing environment. But when those things become more feasible from a practical military standpoint, that will be another great technological leap forward. That is a frightening technological leap forward, because now you've created the next version of splitting of the atom. Now I can point a light at something and destroy it, and the only thing that stops it is it's a light beam is a straight shot. It doesn't curve with the Earth. There's no Borealis effect, or there's no Coriolis effect. So you're not figuring out how to do it. This is a straight line, and it's going to go straight. So I can only hit something. I believe what is the curvature of the Earth? Such that it's 26 or 36 miles to the horizon. So that's your capacity with that particular device. So now you've got to put it someplace else. These are the kinds of things that are scary. The kids that are growing up now, they've had faster computers, better graphics, better audio sound, the capacity to take all of this music that we had in closets.
Yeah.
And they've got access to 1,000 years of music right here in this phone.
They do.
They can take pictures right now. They can do so. Theirs has been much more. It's been more loving, more caring, more soft technological advances, and that's a wonderful thing. I love that for my children. I love that for my grandchildren, and for hopefully I will see my great grandchildren enjoy that kind of technological advances far less than the next person who suddenly comes up with, I've developed the next Uber, whatever. I developed the next fusion bomb. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Or I've developed a singularity bomb. I can create
a black hole,
quantum singularity in the middle of your area, and it will suck everything in a 20-mile radius into this quantum singularity, destroying everything. That becomes a frightening technological advance, as opposed to something that they're trying at CERN and all of these other hadron colliders, because they want to find out what are the principles behind a singularity. Well, if I can create one for an instant, I can now figure out, that great big thing in the middle of our galaxy is this taken to, one with 100,000 zeros behind it.
Well, I mean, if it's
that's
big and it exists, that means the Anunnaki haven't figured out how to get rid of it yet.
And that's why that whole thing, we had this, 3 generations, we had violent technological advances. We had some great technological advances. The Commodore 64 was an incredible advance. The fact that came out, the TRS-80 with dual floppy drives. I remember writing my first program on that damn thing. That was incredible. Those were the soft ones. Those were fun. But because we had seen all this other stuff, that was when War Games came out. Yeah. So here's TRS-80, and I can do this. But we figured out how to link up all these computers. And now I can link up these computers, and we've got a computer that's deciding whether or not to send bombers around the world. Oh, shit.
Oops.
So,
or, the
that
Manhattan
becomes
Project
the thing.
And all that. It's the techno fear.
And that was it. See, the AI, we were worried about AI because the idea of true artificial intelligence, which hasn't been realized, everybody out there that thinks that real artificial intelligence exists, it's not quite there yet. Thank goodness.
Yeah, we don't want it to.
We got taught that AI can be very, very problematic only because in our day, machine learning, which is what AI really is, machine learning really only understood ones and zeros, yes or no, plus or minus. So everything at that time in that programming language was down to very linear, very delineated thing, either yes or no. Does this have a value? Here's how I figure out the value. You don't have a value, I'm going to kill you. You do have a value, I'm going to save you for now. Later I may kill you because you no longer have a value.
But for now, I'll save.
So that was where we had so much of a difficulty, where now there's more nuance. I mean, AI has, they call it AI hallucinations. When AI returns something to you, if you make an ask of AI and the information it brings back is inaccurate, and you correct the AI, and the AI will say, "Oh, thank you for correcting me. I apologize. Yes, now I see that is indeed the case, and my original supposition was wrong." The polite way of talking about it in the AI circles is, that's an AI hallucination. No, that's a failure of the algorithm to separate out accurate data or data that can be confirmed from data that has been repeated but has either been discredited or is not something that can be validated at this time.
True.
The AI algorithms, all they look for really is repetitiveness.
Yeah.
If something has been repeated, even if it's a falsification, if it's been repeated more often, it will come to the front of the list because it has existed more or been presented more often.
Gotcha.
That's where the hallucination comes from.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's the scary stuff. And I've seen it on Facebook. I've seen it in different places. I've gotten it through work where we have doctors, we have PhDs, we have researchers within the organization, within the medical field, who will question AI. I'm looking for more details on this particular hematocrit problem, and this is what I'm finding. Please give me your... And then all of a sudden, it'll spit out all of these things. But then you've got these researchers that go, no, this information is incorrect. This was all discredited years ago. These things have been proven to have been anomalies and false. in testing, they cannot be recreated. And they'll go back and teach the AI. That's why none of our physicians, none of our medical specialists, none of our doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, and psychologists, and psychiatrists, and everybody will use any of these artificial intelligence systems, even the ones that we have internal to our organization, for diagnostic. They use them as a secondary or a tertiary source for information to say, okay, I found all of this. Can you find corroboration that works with this? Yes, I can find all of this. Can you find anything that goes against what I have found here? Yes, I found all of this. Which of these have been debunked or classified or pulled back? So for them, it's the equivalent of having 25 or 30 research assistants, because all they've got is they've got this computer system now going out and searching for all of this information, as opposed to going to PhD candidates and saying, I need you to look up all this information for me, categorize it, bring it back, tell me which ones have been questioned, which ones have been verified, which ones cannot be verified, and we'll go from there. So, but most folks, everybody wants to believe that the AI is there. We all wanted to see Rosie the robot. I wanted Rosie to show up because Rosie was going to take care of us. Rosie was going to make sure things were done. She was going to clean the house, and she was going to take care. She was going to protect my son and my daughter, and she was going to be able to help me walk the dog, and we were going to be able to do all these wonderful things. But no, we're a long way away from that. We're closer to Megan than we are Rosie.
Yeah, no thanks. I don't need to be killed in my sleep by my kid's robot. That's all right.
No, I'm already. I was fearful enough of my granddaughter's dolls.
Yeah.
My counterpart, Shayla's father, loved to buy my granddaughters those, and they weren't porcelain dolls. They were the tall dolls that looked like the porcelain dolls, but they were plastic. And I don't know where he would get them, but and they were the creepiest damn thing in the world because after seeing all the movies.
Oh yeah.
And one time, my son and daughter-in-law, and then my two granddaughters were living in an apartment, and they had that storage room that was kind of tucked in and hidden, and had every time the girls would get these dolls, my son would pack them in his back closet. And one time my son threatened that he was going to bring them over to my house. I said, Zachary, understand, you've seen my collection of knives. You know I have a forge. You know,
I will kill you.
Understand that. Oh, no. I told him, I said, you'll come and your children, your daughters, my granddaughters, will have the most frightening experience because they'll come in and they'll find those fucking things staked to the wall with knives that Grandpa has made to make sure the goddamn things don't come out in the middle of the night.
They keep whispering to me I don't like it.
What'd you do? I killed the damn thing.
Killed the dolls. They were looking at me cross-eyed.
That's right. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll pass them through the forge.
Yeah.
There you go. Talk to me again.
Yeah, that
Go
won't
ahead.
last
Tell
long.
me something else.
That was 2 minutes, no more doll.
That's right. Because my best friend, Big Dave, his mother used to make porcelain dolls. And she did incredible. But she did the hand painting, and she would airbrush the faces, and they were incredible. You looked at them, and none of them were creepy looking. I mean, none of them looked like they were going to jump off the shelf and kill you. They all looked like if you picked it up, it was going to go, Mama. Oh, look at this. You put it back. It was, No, these are like, I'm going to kill that. Nope.
Yeah. The devil is inside this doll.
That's right. That's the one you take to that island down in Mexico where they.
We were looking at that, weren't we? We were the island of just dolls.
That island of dolls, yeah. Yeah, when the guys from Ghost Adventure.
Oh, yeah. Dolls don't creep me out, but that's creepy.
Oh, yeah. You have an island that nobody wants to go to, but when you go out there, and everybody tells you it's haunted, and the whole place is, nothing but little doll heads.
And dolls,
all over everything.
All over trees and bushes. And let's go. We have to go. We got to get out of here.
Are you afraid of this? Oh, hell yeah, I'll admit to it. I'm out. Well, what would it take for you to go out there? Let me see. A flamethrower and about 30 Catholic priests.
Well, how many million are we talking about? 900,000? Okay, that's close enough. Yeah, I can do it for that.
That's right. I'm walking through with a flamethrower. That's it.
This is high flame. This is low flame. This is holy shit. Get back.
That's right. And like I said, I want 30 priests from the Vatican.
30 priests.
I want the priests from the Vatican's exorcism squad. I want the guys that show up.
You don't need that.
And
there's so
they've got everything. I want. Who was the one that was Russell Crowe? Who was it that did the last movie? I want him there.
Yeah.
I want him doing the high kicks and the kung fu and the karate and reading from the Bible and throwing out the holy water, the whole nine. I want that because it's like I'm going to burn it, and if it moves again, you're on.
Yeah. There's so many priests in Mexico. We're good. What you just described, he's just a couple hills over. It's fine.
That's right. Hey, right here. You're up.
Yo, Father Raphael Pedro, come with me.
That's right. What do you do? Well, I'm going to burn him. If that doesn't work, you're on.
I need help on this island. Wait, what island? Wait, what? The doll island? Yeah, the doll island. No, man, forget it. Let me out.
No, he's calling it. Yeah, in that case, he's picking up he's got his rosary phone, and he's calling in an airstrike from the Vatican Air Force. He said, "We're just done. We're out."
10,000 rosary beads dropped on longitude 25, latitude.
What do you got? Well, normally we call it a 5,000-pound bomb. They call it the big rosary. Okay,
big rosy. Whole lot of rosy.
What did you do? Well, the island's gone.
The island's gone, but so are all the dolls. So it's win-win, and all of the Mexican people are happy.
Everybody's excited now.
We killed the devil today. They love us now.
Just a quick conversation.
El Diablo. You don't have to worry about El Diablo anymore. He's got other problems.
Yeah, that's the major pain moment. Is he in that closet? Bam, 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 bam. Well, he ain't happy.
It was a fell swoop. We took care of La Llorona and El Diablo all in the same.
That's right. Gave him a reason. Rethink some of their... I'm going to give you an opportunity to rethink some of your life's choices.
Fuck around and find out, and they found out, and now things are calm.
Right, we're in the find out moment.
Yes.
So
search deep within the find out moment.
That's right. There you go. That's the new Star Wars. The find out is powerful.
Trust your feelings, Luke. See if you can find out. Huh?
That's right.
Go ask the guy in the red vest. He can help you.
What's the difference between the Sith and the Jedi?
I don't know what.
The Sith like to fuck around. The Jedi like to find out.
Well.
All right. We're done.
There's a lot of plot holes in... Oh, speaking of plot holes and interesting things, and did you get a chance to watch that Poggy review of and his theory about Santa Claus the movie? Santa Claus the movie 1, 2, and 3, and then the series. I did not know there was a series because, well, I'm poor. I can't afford luxuries like Disney Plus. But and even Clay and I were discussing it at length, where it's always bothered me with the first Santa Claus movie where he just yells to Santa and Santa falls off the roof and disappears, but waves while he's disappearing.
Yeah.
So they go into this whole theory of how it's bureaucracy. Santa was a corporate headhunting victim. And it's really true. Scott Calvin was a specialist on distribution and promotion, and he had all the tools that they needed for for at least the next 75 years. So if you get a chance, it was actually interesting. And
see, the one that I...
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, the one that I enjoyed was the old Santa Claus movie.
84? Dudley Moore?
Yeah.
The best is that actor that plays Santa Claus is in Blazing Saddles. Oh, prairie shit. All right, everybody. Oh, my God, it's Santa Claus. Blazing Saddles came out years before Santa Claus the movie. It's fine. And it's another one of the traditional tropes of Hollywood where John Lithgow usually played bad guys early in his career. He was the main bad guy in Buckaroo Banzai. He's the bad guy in Santa Claus the movie. He's the one that owns the company. He's Harry and the Hendersons is goofy and fun, but Don Amici and John Lithgow are essentially the antagonists.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't believe that Bigfoot is real. You know, and it isn't until I don't remember when Third Rock comes out, but even still, I think it's 93 or 94. There's the movie Silent Fall with John Lithgow, Richard Dreyfuss, and Linda Hamilton. And it's kind of like Witness with Harrison Ford, only instead of the kid being Amish, he's autistic. And they go deep into autism for a normal person to understand in the movie. But John Lithgow is not the bad guy, but I guess you could say he would be the antagonist doctor, where Richard Dreyfuss is more of the hippie protagonist doctor.
Yeah.
Where he's trying to help, but Lithgow doesn't really let him. It's the same thing. It's like there's very few where Kevin Bacon is the bad guy.
Yeah.
There's a movie, what's it called? Murder in the First, I think, where Kevin Bacon is a serial killer and Gary Oldman is like a lawyer who's obsessed with him and trying to not just bring him down, but just fucking destroy him.
And was it R.I.P.D.? He was the bad guy.
Yeah,
he was
I love
one
that
of the
movie.
Ghettos.
Everybody hated that movie. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I took it for what it was. This is just have fun.
Exactly.
Just enjoy it.
It was a fun movie. Yeah, it was meant to be a good time.
This is Ice Pirates. Just enjoy it.
Exactly. It's like, if you're looking for a cinematic masterpiece, Spaceballs is not it.
No.
You know,
no.
You're looking in the wrong place. These were meant to be, quite frankly, those movies were all meant to be the teenage and 20-something Friday, Saturday night.
Yeah.
Let's go to the movies and have a good time because I don't want to watch another love story or another adventure story or whatever the hell else was going on.
Or even in the 80s. I don't. Cartoons are done. You guys are going to go play with your friends. I'm going to need to get high before I have to go to work. Here's a crappy movie I can fall asleep to before I have to go to work. Yeah.
Yep. Well, all the good stuff in those days, it's like, I mean, heavy metal. Heavy metal was lauded as this wonderful, this amazing, this incredible animation. In all honesty, it wasn't that great of an animation film compared to other animation that was available at the time. It was the first departure from a lot of rotoscope, because rotoscope, Bakshi was big on the rotoscope.
That was where huge on it, yeah.
And he did a lot. And then Frazetta got in Fire and Ice, things like that. But again, there was a good amount of rotoscope that went in with that. And so heavy metal was the first major departure from that wasn't a true animated film, that wasn't a Disney film, or it wasn't Lord of the Rings or things like that. So it was interesting. The music was great, came out at the right time.
Yeah.
It was a real tour de force.
Fire and Ice is an actual story, though, where heavy metal...
Yeah.
Heavy metal, I've always looked at, is an homage to the magazine. Because I read what I could get my hands on in the 80s. So maybe 2 episodes. And then you sit down and you watch the cartoon after the movie, animated movie, after hearing everybody. You sit down and you watch it, and it's kind of like you said. And it's like, well, that was weird. I mean, it was entertaining, but that was not what
the music made the film. It really did, because it was the tie.
Yes.
It was what brought us in. It was what gave us a good time. And the fact that they used the orb and the entity that was the orb to carry you through all the stories. So this is how we weave all the tales together.
Well,
that was a lot of fun.
And you had an all-star cast of voice actors.
Yeah, you had great voice actors. Everybody was having fun. Everything, you know, the bomber sequence was more serious. The Tarna sequence was everybody's favorite. Yeah, there you go. Oh, God, kill. Yeah. The Nyborg was the comedy. That was the fun part. And then, of course, you had the fight for the Lochnar. And that was for all of us D&D freaks. So we had a good time. We enjoyed it. It carried you through. It was a lot of fun. But it was not the tour de force that some folks have held it up to be. The stories were well done. No. They were all written by some good writers. And the animation went with the story. I mean, those of us who saw it, we still enjoy the daylights out of Stern.
Well, yeah. Well, the animation was cutting edge, but you're right. The actors, the storyline. All too often, Hollywood tries to capitalize on something that already exists, and it doesn't always go over smoothly. And I think, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of heavy metal, but I think I've seen it twice, as opposed to other movies where I've watched dozens of times. I watched Lord of the Rings earlier last month,
Heavy metal was one of the ones that I always had to have when I started building home theater systems. Yeah. So I had it on Dolby VHS. Yeah. And then I had it when I got my first big Laserdisc player. And of course I bought it on DVD, and then I bought it on Blu-ray. As I improved my home theater systems and did all of that, you're right, it was for the music. It was the same reason Jurassic Park was not a tour de force. It was not a great cinematic film. It was fun. It was interesting. Yeah. It was much more fun on the big screen with the surround sound system at the theater. However, when I built out my big system and I had my first big TV set, and I built out a system, that was one of the tests that I did. Laserdisc, THX, Dolby. Yeah. And that was the test to see whether or not the system worked.
Yeah. We're getting too late in the show, but you bring up a very valid point. Goonies is a fantastic movie. E.T. is a fantastic movie. Space Raiders is a fun movie. So before next week, folks, like and subscribe, 100% pure barf. We need to come up with a kind of... I was kind of working on a list of, is it Christmas or is it just a normal movie and Christmas happens to be going on in the background? Because that happens all too often, but then I was watching... All right, fuck it, I'll ask. Did you watch either one of the History Guy things I posted about Christmas trees? Or, of course you did. I agree with the Critical Drinker and the History Guy in a sense that It's a Wonderful Life is an accidental miracle of Christmas movie. And I was forcing Clay to listen to my monologue the other night about how it's with A Christmas Carol and other preceding, ghostly spiritual stories for Christmas. Well, the hit did not want to stay in you. But don't be sorry, we're smoking weed on the show. Must be my turn if I'm not the one doing it. But usually it comes to a person who is bad, like a Scrooge, or the Winter Warlock and the one That's the claymation where the character has deviated. They've strayed from their original person and they've become this other thing, whether they realize it or not. So it's the recorrection during Christmas and the spirit of Christmas and the love of Christmas and the neighbors and all that. It's a Wonderful Life is different. Like a lot of the points that the Critical Drinker makes, everything is taken away from Jimmy Stewart constantly while he's trying to get the fuck out of this town. There are powers beyond his control that he can't leave. If I leave, this is going to happen. If I leave, that's going to happen. So with It's a Wonderful Life, it's almost a justification of the checklist of, am I a good fucking person? Am I wasting my own time? Have I, God forbid, well, not that there's a God, because there isn't, but, oh no, have I been a burden on all of those closest to me? Have I, as the song states, you always hurt the ones you love, because you're so focused on creating a bountiful utopia for the people around you that you often just destroy them in the process, creating the groundwork for the utopia. You bleed them dry.
It is a base level therapy film.
It is.
In all honesty, it is a base level therapy film. It is meant to be a film that it has, the Christmas aspect of it is what softens the blow. But the intent is to get someone to stop.
Yeah.
And look and review. And that's a very old tale.
Yeah.
Because that tale has been retold for millennia. That tale was told for generations.
That tale precedes The Mirror, and it is The Mirror. Because the problem is that, like everyone watching, George Bailey is every man. I'm not good enough. I'm not doing enough. I don't spend enough time. I don't save enough money. I don't make things right. I'm not connecting with the kids. I'm not finishing the project. I'm not. And I noticed this through time immemorial. I mean, my dad had like pretty much zero friends, and all he did was devote himself to his wife and his kids. And to hear my father talk on a daily basis, the man who was retired, still in his late 70s, was living behind the eight ball. I've got to do this so I can do that, and I've got to get this done, and you're Dad, you don't have to do those things. I mean, I can handle it. I just would prefer you be here. It's easier with two, and you're my best friend and my father. Of course I want you involved. And like when we would invite him to parties, he would freak out. Well, I'm not 12 anymore, Dad. You got to get out of that. I'm 35. It's fine. You can drink with us. It's okay. And
come on, we're not going to let you get that drunk.
Well, that and
I'm going to let you get drunk enough to beat up the old lady. But
no, I don't think that would. I don't. No, you do not. Yeah, you do not put your hands on women. My father was very against violence against women.
So, not going to have you doing a throwdown in the street, but we will let you drink enough to be happy.
I've watched my father intimidate two men that were like twice his size, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, sir, excuse me." And it's just like, I mean, he's been scaring me since I was little, but I know he loves me. It's different. But I think that kind of personality trait travels through, in a sense. And I think it reverts back. It's late. We're tired. We're still recovering, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. I've been sick. He's been sick. Rob was sick. We've all been sick. Hopefully Clay won't get sick.
Sick and or twisted does gain you bonus points in certain things, but not viral infections. Thank you very much.
No, unfortunately not. Now I'm trying to remember the original point I was making because, well, I've been up since 2 o'clock and it's getting late. And
Yeah.
well, what were we talking about before this?
Well, we were talking about the It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a wonderful, yes, because I
is
wanted to make one more point. But it is reverse Christmas Carol because George is there ready. We live in a throwaway society, and the males are the throwaway. Men rule the castle, but women rule the empire. And any man, well, smart men don't get married. Dumb men are ready to kill themselves for the idealistic, romantic idealistic of the hopeless romantic relationship. The problem is that that's a 500-year-old ideal that is created by the church to keep knights from acting like fools in the early 12th century, 13th century, 14th century, and it is He, She, and We, Robert Johnson, great books, where he basically takes King Arthur has a nephew, Tristan, and Tristan is supposed to marry Isolde's sister, and Isolde can't stand Tristan. Tristan in ancient English, the actual name Tristan, as cool as it sounds, it means ultimate suffering. And Christian fits his name. He's moody, he's mopey, he's a goth emo teenager in the strictest sense of being a goth emo teenager. But Isolde loves her little sister. This is really important. Isolde is promised to somebody else, but he's off fighting a war. So we'll just have to wait till he gets back. In the meantime, let's marry. God damn it, I can't remember her name. Anyway, the sister and Tristan are supposed to get married. Isolde decides, I don't fucking like you, but now you're going to be in charge of my beloved little sister. Let's, oh, hey, look, there's 2 glasses. Let's you and I drink to the success. You better treat her good, or I swear to God, I'm going to fucking gut you like a fish. Let's drink to the success of you and my sister's marriage. So they drink these goblets in this little, like, antechamber, and they did not know. Nobody told them, holy shit, those are the goblets that have the love potion in them that Isolde and Tristan are supposed to drink. Or, I mean, Isolde's sister and Tristan are supposed to drink after the ceremony to, boom, honeymoon, here we come. So the potion takes effect, and they can't stop touching each other, and they, like, run away into the woods, and they have sex pretty much only for 3 years, and then the potion wears off, and both of them are like, ew, I don't like you at all. So Isolde goes back to her parents. She explains what happens. Holy crap, that's where you 2 idiots have been. Tristan, he goes home. He gets involved in a bunch of other wars. He gets injured. They put him in a boat because they think he's going to die, and they just push him out into the ocean. And then there's like an archipelago in England and Ireland and that whole area. He lands on another island. This is the world we live in. He meets another woman named Isolde, and they live happily ever after for a little while, but Tristan is Tristan, and he ruins that relationship and then eventually goes home to his own kingdom. So the moral of the story is that men are raised to be Tristan, to be Prince Philip, to be Galahad, to be Lancelot, to be Prince Charming. We have to rescue the princess. The problem is that Isolde and Aurora and Cinderella and Snow White, and I can keep going, they're aren't any evil wizards or wicked well, there's plenty of wicked stepmothers, I shouldn't say that. There aren't any dragons that are that's a metaphor as the wizard, as the tower. So it's I've been raised to rescue a woman from an evil wizard in a tower. But you're the evil wizard. You built this tower on your own with credit card debt and bad decisions and all of the things that these are just the building blocks of human existence in 2025. But on the other hand, I had nothing to do with all of these decisions, and now I have to make battle-ready reparations for the oncoming orc horde that is your credit card debt, your car payment, your kid, I'm glad you're laughing at this, Clay. Rob is amused. He's smiling and nodding. So what do you do at that point? And then, oh, you guys aren't hitting on us. Well, no, I don't want to end up on TikTok being an asshole when I was like, excuse me, I'm trying to get to milk. This guy's been following me. I've been recording him. I just need some whole milk. I promise. Let me get what I want. And I promise to go away and never bother your dairy worshipness again. Oh my God. So that's those are the new battlefields, and they fucking suck, but that's the reality of today. Am I wrong? Thank you. He's
no, it's the
move the camera.
The ladies
say no again. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, Rob.
At our age, the women that are our age are the ones that are now out. At least the ones that I have had interactions with one-on-one, face-to-face. They're the ones that are charging out for the one-night stands and all the rest of that stuff.
Yeah.
And that, again, that just as you said, that goes against the, wait a minute, there's supposed to be something here. This is, look, here, the storybook says that we're supposed to, I get to know you, but I have to be chaste, and I have to take the time, and I have to treat you like a lady, like a princess. You have to be here, and I have
treat you like this, and then there'll be birds carrying garlands, putting them at the top of the building, and
I have to prove my worth, not that taking you out for pizza at a sit down restaurant is not, and then walking you out to your car, and suddenly it's like, now you're like, what are you doing tonight? Well, I was going to go home and give you a call tomorrow.
Yeah.
We should. Wait a minute.
Whoa. I don't want to end up on TikTok. It's just odd because, social ostracization is the female. Like we're some weird incels. We're not the female. But for most women, social ostracization is the ultimate fucking, ace up the sleeve. It's the ultimate trump card. It's the ultimate boom, I win. The R word. He touched me because no, dude, I'm just a dude who's lonely, who, I have a bunch of hobbies, but I also like intimacy as well. I mean, I am a human being. It's weird in a sense when you're in your 20s and you have youth, because you have youth until about 34, and then youth leaves everybody, and it's everybody, men, women, across the board, rich, poor, hot, ugly, dumb, smart, doesn't matter. You have youth, and then you don't. Oh yeah, it hurts, and this happens and that happens, but it's amusing now for me because at about 35, women really stopped paying attention to me at all, stopped noticing me, stopped flirting with me, and I'm not attractive, and I'm not in great shape or rich. So personality and sense of humor is this is what we're doing. I've got a master's degree in being fucking funny. Okay, nope, it's not real. That's not a real thing. So, School of Hard Knocks, folks, sign up today. So I relied on that forever. But as you age, and he's no longer with us, but Clay and Rob both know Paul Nicolaitis, who was a dear friend of all of us. Paul said something that he experienced first. And when you hear wisdom when you're young, you're like, huh, that's probably important. I'm going to remember this, but who cares? I'm getting laid. And then later, as decades progress, and your mind echoes that, because the human brain loves to torture the human. That's how it was designed. You hear the echoes of the past, and you go, wait a minute. And then you realize it. We were... Paul and Ed and I were going to Imperial Outpost, which sadly is no longer a store for gaming. And all of a sudden, oi, Kelly, what? You're going bald, huh? The back of your head is thinning. Yeah, your hair is thinning. And this was like, Paul was upset about this, and we're in like a parking lot. This is not really the time to discuss this. This is like for, at your house or at my house, in your computer room or in the shop. Dude, I'm 37. Holding on to youth is over now. What do you want? Well, you're going gray and your hair is thinning. Paul, I'm 37 and you're 6 years older than me. Do the math, kids. Which was a big he was quiet for a while. We go through the whole thing. Sorry. Gray, Paul says, is like an unwanted invisibility cloak. How do you mean? Well, the more gray you become, the more invisible you are to the youth of society. And then he gave several examples, and it's like, it's really true. Now, in the geek, Supermaster geek circles of us, Paul always held a higher rank for being an Englishman because we were Anglophiles obsessed with doing the Renaissance Festival and Morris dancing. And, dude, I'm like way English on both sides of my family. My grandfather on my dad's side, my dad's grandfather is off the boat from Northumberland area, where my mom's side, one generation back, the Jacksons are from London. So we've always had, come to think about it, looking back, we really have had always not just German and Irish, but definitely English traditions. All three are huge fans of tea. All three are huge fans of Christmas and, not the Germans so much with Halloween, but definitely the English find it amusing, and the Irish are like, Halloween! They're the ones that perpetuated the Americans being in love with it. So he just, couldn't understand. It was it was more painful to him that I was aging because I was 6 years younger than him. He and Tim are only 3 years apart, but Tim is 3 years older than I am.
Oh.
So it was a reality check at that moment for him, and I think it cut him a lot more deeply than he had realized. And sorry, am I keeping you up too late?
No, I understand that one completely. As you were talking about it, I kind of figured out what I was for so many years. I was, raised by Irish-Italian father, raised by Scottish German mother, but both families have been here since the very early 17th century.
Oh.
So
we come much later.
Always the protectors. Always, your job is to. So I was, for all intents and purposes, for all the girls that I knew, for all the girls that I loved, fell in love with, and whatnot that I knew through the group. I was the golem.
Oh,
I was the golem.
Yeah.
I was the perfect golem because I was the one that they could count on to take care of things, make sure that they were safe, to ensure that they got where they needed to go safely, that they got home safely afterwards, that there was no hanky-panky unless they wanted it to happen with whomever they were with at the time. I mean, the girls used to love to take me with them when they would go for a girls' night out at Graham Central Station or Mr. Lucky's or any of the cowboy bars. Because here's this great big gorilla.
Denim and diamonds.
And I'm standing there, and I never drank when I drove, so they would buy. I didn't pay to drink sodas all night. I didn't pay to eat. I didn't pay, because these places had pool tables. I never paid for pool because I was the guy when somebody went up to one of the girls and asked them to dance and they didn't want to dance, they would point to me and tell them that I was their husband, their boyfriend, whatever.
This guy is creepy. Will you make him go away? Oh, if
I had a nickel. And it was never that. It was always, you'll have to ask my boyfriend.
Oh.
And the guys would look, and if the guy ever came up to me, it was like, dude, if she sent you over here, she doesn't want to dance.
See, that sucks, because, all right.
That was my job.
I was lucky, and I met a fantastically beautiful blonde in '97 and had a brief relationship with her. But the problem was that in retrospect, I was being used to make her husband angry. But we went out to, well, it wasn't the Devil House anymore. It was Club Rio then.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Back in the day, anyway, that's not important right now. But
I remember distinctly hearing from Grandpa all of these girls, literally from grade school through high school and on, and most of them I still know, but most of them don't have anything to do with me anymore because they don't need a golem. But
who must I pummel? No one. Okay, gotta go.
Pretty much. I used to get that. I'd get that call from Grandpa, and he'd say, "I need your help." Okay, there was never a question. And later on, I would find out that each one of these young ladies had been assaulted by a young man who was either their husband or their fiance or their boyfriend, whatever. And they would call Grandpa. And then they would tell Grandpa, "Don't tell Robbie. Don't tell him. Don't tell him." So what would happen? Grandpa would take me over there because I was the golem. And regardless of who the guy was, the door would open up, Grandpa would walk in, I'd be right behind, and you'd hear the girl say, "I told you not to tell him." And it's like, Grandpa didn't tell me anything. What happened?
I'm here to break arms and legs. What happened?
Grandpa said he needed my help. What happened? And so I was the Colt 45 peacemaker that Grandpa carried.
The interesting disconnect is now, where the world that you and I and all of those in the mid-'60s on to the mid-'80s get a high school diploma. It's better if you have a college degree, but get a high school diploma. You'll get a good job. You can have 2 cars and a wife and a couple kids if you just keep working, and then you'll get a pension and you can retire. And now we live in a world where I would hire you full time, but it makes more sense to hire double the part-time employees so I don't have to give them insurance, and that keeps me out of a lower tax bracket with the government. So, dude, I totally understand where you're coming from, but in the meantime, I need to eat and pay my bills.
Yeah, I've gotten kind of used to eating. Thank you.
I like it. At least twice a day, that would be awesome. Oh my God. Can I not have to sell all my stuff just to survive? So, without getting too economical, the main, the disconnect with the future is that you don't want to hire somebody that's old. I mean, the same thing. Would you want old software or old tools or old stuff doing on the front line what you're handling? On the flip side, if it's not technology, wouldn't you want that experience and that whole, dude, you don't understand. Gen X was forged in a fire that you guys can't really relate to. We're ready to work until we die. I would have no remorse if I was in the middle of doing something and I dropped dead and just hit the deck at work. Because that's...
We were the improvise, adapt, and overcome generation. So we're the ones that walk in, look at the problem, we spot the problem, and we say, oh, here's the issue.
Yeah.
These are the potential fixes. I'm going to give you two choices. I can do this or that. Which would you like me to do?
Yeah.
And depending upon who it is that you're reporting to, if they're the younger generation, oh, well, I don't know which one is going to cost me less. Well, A is going to cost you less. Do that. All right, get out of the way. If it's an older person like us, it's going to be, you know what? I trust you enough. You choose the right way to do it, get it done, and come back and tell me what you did. Sounds like a winner. I appreciate it. And I'm off to do it.
Well, you've got more dangers with hiring an old employee, and I learned this. Management came very early for me with a juggling troupe, with D&D, with things like that. You know, in truth, I had always wanted to follow in my father's footsteps and just be the engineer. Be the guy who fixes things. Be the guy who makes it work. Be the guy who solves the problem in an emergency. But through all of life, I keep getting pushed into these leadership positions that I really don't want. But whoa, that was loud. I really don't want the leadership issue or leadership position and all the issues that come with it, but on the other hand, I'm the one that started all this bullshit in the first place. This is all my fault. I instigated this. I was the itch that caused the, initial scratching of the making everything happen. So you can only resist what you are for so long before you finally step up, grab hold of it, and try to make it work. And that's kind of a lot of what we're doing here, isn't it?
That's what we were taught. And that was what came from the generation that taught us. And I tried to pass that along, but there's some changes. My sons didn't have to do as much of that as I had. And my grandchildren don't have to do as much of that as my children have to. So we learned from a group where there were circumstances, you stepped in, and whether or not you had the title, if you knew how to do it, or nobody else was stepping up to do it, you stepped in and made it happen. Yeah. And there were fewer of us than there were of those behind us, or those that taught us. And there are fewer still of those that we have taught who are doing that same kind of thing. That's the only reason why I'm going to make this the end, because we're coming up on 8:30. We're coming up on 3 hours and 31 minutes. But a perfect example is where I work now. I have a lot of exposure to people with C's before their titles. And, super extreme vice president in charge of stupidity and bullshit. Anyway, I'm the guy.
Sorry.
I go into these meetings and I have to tell these people to do things. And In the polite parlance, it's called managing up. You get the people above you to do the things that either they need to do or you need them to do to ensure that everything can be taken care of, the actions that are required.
Yeah.
So I had to go before a director and a VP and explain to them that I'm more than willing to write all of the governance documents that they want. I'll write the SOPs, the policies, all the rest of that. I'll do all of that. I'll go and present them to all of your C-suite people and your VPs and your directors and everybody. I don't have a problem with that.
Sorry.
But because I do not have a title, these people are not going to listen to me because on average they are 10 years or younger than I am. And they live and die by their titles. And they believe that somehow they have something extra that precludes them from having to listen to or be driven by someone without a title. And so my director said, fine, we'll get you a title. That's fine. I don't care. You can give me whatever title you want. You can call me the third lug nut. I don't give a shit. But if there's no title, these people are not going to listen.
Yeah.
So they found out that that was the case. But my director and my VP have also learned that because of all of the things that I've done, because of all of the training that was drilled into my head by people from that previous generation, that I have zero qualms. I equate it to I'm too goddamn old to give a shit.
Yeah.
And I have no problem telling these people that these things need to be done because it falls under their control or their purview. They are responsible for it. And upon completion of that, they need to come back to the group that we're involved in at that moment and provide the results. And then we can move forward. And I have had senior vice presidents go, oh, yeah, okay, I'm on it. We'll get back to you next week.
Let's evaluate
it's like,
that. Yeah.
And then I have to talk to my director and say, 2 questions. Number one, why did I have to say that? And number 2, why in the fuck am I the one doing that? Okay, then give me his role and his title and his salary.
Yeah.
And I'll make things happen because apparently
job. Yeah.
Nobody wants to choose. Nobody wants to put their name on it. And I'm at the level where I tell them, they come to me and say, well, I really need you to do this. All right, I need you to put that in an email. I need it in writing. Oh, well, send me an email because I need to put it on my calendar. I need to put it over here. I need to have it. Put it in writing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm old. I'm an old medic. I've been in the government sector for far too long. If it isn't written down, it didn't happen. Write it down.
Send me an email.
Send me an email. Send me a carrier, please. I don't care. Don't ask me. Send it.
Be safe from Krampus tonight. Christmas is, god damn, it's only 10 days. Well, today's over. It's 9 days away. 8 if you count Christmas Eve.
That's me and Krampus. I'm on top.
You're on top. Don't forget Body and Soul candles. Lauren does amazing work. She always has extra candles on hand. They're amazing. I wish I had won the lottery this last round. Everybody would have gotten candles.
Yeah.
I gotta put together a actual sponsor commercial for her because she helps us out so much. Do you have any plugs before we?
Bauhaus, Bahaus. Bauhaus. They are an art group. They do extraordinary work. They're down on 20th Street, south of Indian School. They have a marionette theater on Saturday the 20th. They are presenting a new, completely self-written event called Cabaret. It's a wonderful event. If you have the opportunity to look them up on the Weird Wide Web, you can buy tickets through Zelle with them, $20 a head. The events are more than worthwhile. It's an extraordinary opportunity. Take the opportunity to do it. The only other plug I'll make is St. Mary's Food Bank. If you're in Arizona, from central to northern Arizona, you have the opportunity. If you can give of your time, please think about it. If you can give them $1, if you can give them 4 cans of food, 2 cans of food, St. Mary's Food Bank or any food bank. St. Mary's is the oldest food bank in the country. They were the first, but it's a worthwhile adventure. If you can do it, go out there. Again, if you don't have money, if you have extra that you can give of your time. They're more than happy to have you come down, help fill boxes, and you would be amazed at how good you feel when it's done. It's the best workout. I tell people it's absolutely the best CrossFit you can get, and for the price you can't beat it because you don't have to pay a dime.
I gotta go. Well, I have to work tomorrow morning. I gotta be there at 5:30, and it's like you said, 8:30 now. But one of these
third Tuesday of every month.
Yeah,
and the first Monday, I believe, of every month we do it. So,
like and subscribe. We're working on it. Merry Christmas. We got all kinds of stuff going on. I think that's it. I think Clay's in his room. I don't know where he is. Sorry, go ahead.
So, I was just say happy, God Yule, happy Hulkmanay, all of that. However you celebrate, enjoy it.
Happy holidays, happy holidays. Thank you very much for watching. We appreciate it. Like and subscribe. And, yeah, see you next week. All right, man.
We'll see you on Saturday.
Absolutely. You have a good night. Thank you very much.
You too, my brother.
I'm glad you're feeling better. You're looking better. I'm feeling better. Rob's feeling better. Oh my God, I went to the store. Ron and I live right near each other. So I'm okay, I need this, and I got to go to the ATM, and I look up, and I'm like, I know that face. That's Laura. That's Ron's wife. I know him. That's Ron. That's my... So we talked for a little bit. Sucks that he didn't make it tonight, but dude, they're both really busy. So that going on. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah just started. The Festival of Lights. So that should be fun. And yeah, see you next week. Absolutely.